Chapter 44-64. After that, Lu Ming asked the remaining heavenly human tribe elders a few more questions and obtained some unimportant information. Then, he let them all go. After letting those people go, Lu Ming and the other three left as well. They found another place to let the rock spirit devour Shao Chuha's soul stone piece. In this way, the life soul primordial stone fragment in Lu Ming's hand could be considered a fusion of 3 fragments. This made the vitality stone spirit very excited. Even its memories were more complete. It could remember a few secrets of the life spirit palace. Unfortunately, it still had no impression of the life spirit heavenly court or this ancient city. However, there were always benefits to fusing with more life spirit vitality stone fragments. Although they hadn't gained much in the life soul heavenly court, they still hadn't gained much. But one thing was for sure, there was definitely a treasure in the life spirit heavenly court. This was because Yi Wu of the heavenly human tribe was about to open an ancient ruin and needed more fragments of the natal spirit stone. Perhaps there were other similar historical sites. Also, were the other 3 treasures of the life spirit heavenly court also in this ancient city? The group of 4 continued to move through the mists, advancing carefully. Along the way, they also sensed the aura of the celestial clan, so they avoided them ahead of time. Just like that, 7 days of fog passed. When the 8th day arrived, the fog in the world quickly dissipated, and the world regained its clarity. When the fog dissipated, Lu Ming's group of 4 hid in an intact building. To them, the absence of the fog was more dangerous than the presence of the fog. It was because the celestial clan's experts could move out without any restraint. They could target them even from far away. Once he encountered an expert above the 2nd layer of the Divine Master Realm, he would not be able to shake them off. They decided not to take action when there was no fog. They would only take action when there was fog. Although the speed was much slower when the fog rose, they had plenty of time, didn't they? He's here. In less than half a day, Lu Ming suddenly whispered. The 4 of them retracted their auras to the extreme. They were like stones, using the buildings as support to look outside. Swish. Swish. In the sky, there was the sound of air being torn apart. One figure after another appeared. Their eyes were like lightning as they scanned their surroundings. It was precisely the celestial race. There was no lack of divine masters among them. At the same time, their spiritual senses kept scanning the area. Under Xian Yanqing's sky demon domain, Lu Ming's group of 4 was completely isolated from the outside world's spiritual senses. Xian Yanqing had the memories of his previous life and had many tricks up his sleeve. It wasn't difficult for him to block the probing of other people's spiritual senses. The heavenly humans scanned the area, but they did not discover anything. They then left in a flash. Lu Ming and the other 3 stayed in the building, cultivating and waiting at the same time. Especially Xian Yanqing needed some time to cultivate. Because Xian Yanqing's cultivation had long reached the peak of the God Emperor realm, he could already break through to the Divine Master realm. Divine Masters SSS Divine Master. If she could break through to the Divine Master realm, her battle prowess would skyrocket, which would be of great benefit to them. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. During these dozen or so days, they had discovered at least 3 groups of celestial clan cultivators. They had investigated this place, so they naturally didn't discover them. Half a month later, fog began to appear again. Soon, the entire ancient city was shrouded in thick fog. Let's go. Lu Ming's group of 4 began to move again. They charged into the fog, heading toward the center of the ancient city. Nothing unusual happened for the first 2 days. On the 3rd day, they encountered a group of celestial race cultivators. This group of celestial race cultivators had a 2nd-level divine master. Lu Ming's group was no match for them, so they turned and fled. Finally, they managed to shake off the celestial race cultivators with the help of the fog. Careful. After shaking off the members of the heavenly human clan, Lu Ming suddenly shouted softly. This was because he sensed a terrifying crisis descending in that instant. At this critical moment, forbidden energy erupted, turning into a ribbon that wrapped around Xian Yanqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shen, forcing them to retreat. Swish. 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 Several terrifying bursts of energy descended from the sky, landing where Lu Ming's group had been standing. They struck the ground, creating several craters. Above us. Xian Yanqing roared as the celestial demon domain erupted. Black lotuses appeared in the domain and soared into the sky. Swish. 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 Above them, the fog churned and the terrifying energy howled as a bony claw swiped at them. This attack was simply too fast. From the sneak attack to the second wave of attacks, there was no gap in between. It was so fast that Lu Ming could not even take out the Bingxian rod to block it. Heaven-cleaving style. At this critical moment, Lu Ming could only use the heaven-cleaving style. Spear energy poured out of his pores as his body transformed into a spear and soared into the sky. Qiu Moon and Wanshan hurriedly used all their strength to block this attack. The attacks of the four people collided with the bony claws. With several explosions, Lu Ming's group of four shuddered. They felt a mountain-toppling pressure from the bony claw, and their bodies slammed into the ground like meteors. Plush. Qiu Moon was the weakest, so she couldn't help but vomit blood. What a powerful attack. Xian Yanqing's expression turned grave. This bony claw's attack was equivalent to a second-level God Lord's attack. However, the fog made it difficult for them to sense the opponent's cultivation. They only knew that this attack was extremely powerful. And it's not from the celestial race. Lu Ming said. The celestial race controlled the power of the heavens. And the attack just now was definitely not the power of the heavens, but the divine power cultivated by the various races of the universe. Who is it? Get out here. Wanshan roared like a frenzied lion. But the only response they received was another bony claw swiping at them from above. At the same time, the sound of air being torn came from all directions. Because the fog obstructed their vision, they couldn't see what was attacking them, but they were sure that this attack was no small matter. Profound Ice Staff. The Profound Ice Staff appeared in Lu Ming's hand. With a shout, he poured his forbidden energy into the Profound Ice Staff. The Profound Ice Staff rapidly expanded as it swung at the bony claw. Boom! There was a loud roar and the Bingxian rod vibrated violently, causing Lu Ming to retreat continuously. However, the bone claw was also blocked. Moreover, there was a gush of icy coldness covering the bone claw and spreading rapidly. At the same time that Lu Ming attacked, Xian Yanqing's group also attacked, taking out their trump cards. However, they ignored the bony claw above them and focused on dealing with the attacks coming from all directions. Only when they got closer did they realize that the attacks coming from all directions were bone swords. The bone swords were sharp and contained terrifying energy. They constantly clashed with Xian Yanqing's group, suppressing Xian Yanqing's group. Even after using their trump cards, they were still no match. Chapter 44-65. Break out of the encirclement. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Xian Yanqing, Qiu Moon, and Wan Shen. Then, the four of them gathered together and suddenly rushed in one direction. With the combined strength of the four of them, they finally shattered a few bone swords. Then, they used their movement techniques and ran quickly. After a few exchanges, they understood that the person who attacked them was very strong. Even if they used all their strength, they were definitely not a match for him. As they ran, the person who secretly attacked them chased them relentlessly. Bone swords flew through the air. At the same time, the giant white bone claw in the air condensed again. It emitted a terrifying aura and grabbed at Lu Ming and the others. Break! Lu Ming shouted. He waved the obsidian staff and continued to attack the white bone claw. He blocked the white bone claw's attack. He used the force of this attack to rush forward. At the same time, he swept up Xian Yanqing and the others and accelerated forward. At the same time, Xian Yanqing activated the Heavenly Demon territory to envelop a large area of defense. No matter how the other party hid, they would be enveloped by the Heavenly Demon territory and be greatly restricted. Lu Ming and the others took the opportunity to run forward. It was not convenient to chase in the thick fog, but it was convenient to escape. It did not take long for Lu Ming and the others to successfully shake off the other party. However, the four of them had a grave expression. Lu Ming, who do you think attacked us? If it's not the Heavenly Human Tribe, who else could it be? Wan Shen said. It seems that other than the Heavenly Human Tribe who wants the Vitality Stone fragments, there are also some other people who want to seize others' Vitality Stone fragments. Lu Ming said. Xian Yanqing and the rest understood that Lu Ming was referring to someone like them, someone who also had fragments of the primordial stone. Now, there were only two kinds of people in this ancient city. The first kind was the Heavenly Human Tribe. The second kind was like them, people who had Vitality Stone fragments and were brought in by the Vitality Stone fragments. And the person who had attacked them was likely someone like them, someone who possessed a fragment of a life soul essence stone. They had been brought in by the fragment. Someone wanted to take advantage of the situation to rob others of their life spirit vitality stones. The life spirit vitality stone shards only chose top geniuses, but it did not mean that they were all from the younger generation. It was very likely that he was a prodigy of the previous generation. If it was those older geniuses, then their cultivation levels were very likely to have stepped into the Divine Master realm long ago. In a battle between peers, Lu Ming and the others naturally did not fear anyone. However, it was hard to say when it came to fighting across generations. It seemed like the ancient city was getting more and more dangerous. Not only did they have to guard against the Heavenly Human Tribe, but they also had to guard against the other owners of the Life Spirit Source Stone fragments. However, they couldn't stay where they were. Even if they were not looking for treasures, they would still have to make a move in order to get out. If they didn't move when the fog was thick, when the fog receded, there would be celestial race experts everywhere. It would be even more difficult to move. Therefore, Lu Ming's group of four did not stop and continued to move forward according to the original plan. Not long after, they made another discovery. They saw a corpse in an alley. It was a blood-red bat with golden wings. A member of the Blood Tribe. It was obvious that this was a Blood Tribe expert. However, this Blood Tribe expert's forehead was pierced by a sword light. Killed with a single sword strike. This member of the Blood race is a first-level Divine Master. Xian Yanqing carefully sized up this person and determined this person's cultivation level based on the remnant aura on his body. Moreover, he wasn't killed by the Heavenly Human Tribe. Lu Ming continued. This Blood Tribe expert had clearly been killed not long ago. There were still remnants of energy in his wounds that had not dissipated. That energy was clearly not the power of the heavens. Could he have been killed by the existence that attacked them earlier? This Blood Tribe expert was very likely the owner of the Life Spirit Source Stone fragment. That was why he was killed. The Soul Spirit Source Stone fragment on him had obviously been taken away. How many people have come this time? The myriad gods whispered. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others did not speak. Their brows were tightly knitted. Lu Ming found it difficult to answer this question. He did not know how many fragments the Life Spirit Source Stone had shattered into. A dozen pieces? A few dozen? Apart from the Heavenly Human Tribe, how many people had come this time? Were there any extremely terrifying existences? It felt more and more dangerous in this ancient city. There were murderous intents everywhere. Let's go. Lu Ming said. Since they were already here, they could only give it a try no matter what. The four of them continued forward. The next day was calm and peaceful. They did not encounter any danger. However, one day later, there's someone ahead. Suddenly, Lu Ming and the others stopped. This was because they felt that there was someone ahead. Moreover, the person was very close to them, just 1,000 meters away. 1,000 meters away was already beyond the range of their eyesight and spiritual senses. However, a distance of 1,000 meters was too short for them. If they attacked, 1,000 meters would be covered in an instant. There was no difference between 1,000 meters and 1 meter. It could be said that this was a very dangerous distance. Once they attacked, it would be difficult to react in time. Fortunately, the other party did not attack. They seemed to have stopped there and did not move. The atmosphere seemed to have frozen. Lu Ming and the others channeled their power and set up layers of defense around their bodies, ready to attack at any time. Swoosh! Suddenly, there was a sharp sound in front of them. It was piercing toward them. At the same time, there was a cold aura rushing toward them at an astonishing speed. Kill! Lu Ming shouted softly, and the Bingxian staff suddenly enlarged and pressed forward like a mountain. Clang! The Bingxian staff collided with a battle sword. The battle sword vibrated violently and flew back. This sword, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This battle sword was rusty and looked very old. This was a great killing weapon, a source-level divine weapon. More importantly, Lu Ming recognized this rusty battle sword. This was Di Jianyi's sword. He had fought with Di Jianyi before. Di Jianyi's great killing weapon was this rusty battle sword. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, a black hole suddenly appeared in the sky. The black hole kept spinning and exploded with a terrifying devouring power. Even the surrounding fog was devoured by the black hole. The surrounding vision suddenly became clearer. It was not a black hole but a flower. Sky-devouring rose flower. Dark night rose, it's you. Xian Yanqing's demonic aura spread out. A huge figure appeared around her and pressed its hands toward the black hole. Rumble. The black hole shook violently and the devouring power was also decreasing. Lu Ming, it's you. Xian Yanqing, it's you. A few figures appeared in succession. So it's you. Die, kill. Wanshan roared and his divine power erupted. His body became huge and burly as he controlled more than a dozen origin source secret techniques and attacked in a direction. Over there, the dark aura was extremely dense. A figure turned into dark aura and turned into various demons, ghosts, and skeletons to resist with all his might. That was Yin Jioling. Chapter 4466. Boom! On the other side, Autumn Moon brandished his saber and exchanged blows with someone. That person was enveloped in flames. Every move he made caused a strong gust of wind and exuded a terrifyingly high temperature. The aura of the origin ancient word, that's Ling Heng. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The person who was exchanging blows with Autumn Moon was actually the #1 exceptional genius on the universe prodigy list, Ling Heng. Ling Heng had actually walked together with Anya Rose and the others. Swoosh! In front of him, the iron sword flew over and slashed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as he shouted, Di Jianyi, today, I will completely suppress you. Just as his voice fell, Lu Ming took a step forward and charged out like lightning. At the same time, the mysterious Bingxian rod struck down. When the huge mysterious Bingxian rod pressed down, the fog rolled and the void shook. Lu Ming finally saw the figure in front of him clearly. If it wasn't Di Jianyi, who else could it be? Di Jianyi was controlling the rusty saber. Dang! The saber and rod clashed again and there was a shocking explosion. However, Di Jianyi's fighting power was originally 2 stars lower than Lu Ming's. Although the rusty saber that he controlled was also an origin-level weapon, it still couldn't be compared to the mysterious Bingxian rod. Hence, he wasn't Lu Ming's opponent at all. The saber and rod clashed and the rusty saber was sent flying. Di Jianyi's body shook and he retreated. He coughed out blood and was severely injured. Di Jianyi, Anya Rose shouted and waved her hand. A saber flew towards Lu Ming. The saber quickly enlarged and slashed out, cutting through the void. Hall Guardian Weapon. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Back then, he, Ling Yue, Anya Rose, Di Jianyi, and Xiao Wuji had explored one of the 9 Life Spirit Halls. In the Life Spirit Hall, they had discovered 2 Hall Guardian weapons. One of them was the mysterious Bingxian rod, which had landed in Lu Ming's hands. The other one was a saber that had landed in Anya Rose's hands. Obviously, it was this one. Lu Ming waved his hand and the mysterious ice rod blasted out, clashing with the war blade. With a clang, the battle saber was blocked. However, Lu Ming's body also swayed slightly. What power! This Dark Knight Rose is indeed someone who has lived a lifetime. The power she can bring out when controlling the divine weapon is clearly stronger than mine. Lu Ming pondered. Dark Knight Rose was a reincarnated person. In her previous life, she was Xian Yanqing's pet. However, according to what Xian Yanqing had said, Xian Yanqing had been at reciprocity in his past life. The Dark Knight Rose had been at reciprocity as well. They had the experience of reaching Origin Realm, so they were naturally more powerful when controlling divine weapons of the same level. Dark Knight Rose, your opponent is me. Xian Yanqing shouted. A huge lotus flower pressed down on Dark Knight Rose. Dark Knight Rose could only recall her saber to resist. However, how could Dark Knight Rose and the others be a match for Lu Ming and the others? They were all at a disadvantage. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, we just have different ideologies. There is no big grudge between us. Why did you sneak attack us before? Dark Knight Rose shouted. Nonsense, it was you who sneak attacked us just now. Before Lu Ming could answer, the Pantheon God roared and kept attacking like a storm. Yin Jiuling kept flashing and could only dodge with all his might. However, he was still injured by the powerful force of the Pantheon God. We attacked you? It's a misunderstanding. Stop, this is a misunderstanding. Dark Knight Rose shouted and retreated quickly. However, Xian Yanqing controlled the lotus to continue attacking. Shao Qin, wait a minute. Lu Ming shouted. Xian Yanqing stopped and recalled the lotus, but he still stared at Dark Knight Rose. Autumn Moon, myriad gods, stop. Lu Ming shouted again. Then, everyone followed Lu Ming's lead. When Lu Ming asked them to stop, Autumn Moon and myriad gods naturally stopped. Yin Jiuling, Ling Hang, and Di Jianyi quickly came to Dark Knight Rose's side. Lu Ming realized that besides Yin Jiuling, Ling Hang, and Di Jianyi, there were a few other young men and women. There were 4 other people who came to Dark Knight Rose's side. Xiao Wuji. Lu Ming saw Xiao Wuji at first glance. In the past, when Lu Ming's cultivation was still weak, Xiao Wuji had fought with Lu Ming. But then, Xiao Wuji's combat power was far behind Lu Ming's. Although Xiao Wuji had awakened the King Azura bloodline at the beginning, he had had many fortuitous encounters and had received guidance from Dark Knight Rose. But his current combat power was 10 stars. Lu Ming had seen Xiao Wuji in the Battle of the Origin in Taishang Immortal City. However, Xiao Wuji, who had 10 stars of combat power, was nothing in Lu Ming's eyes. Xiao Wuji didn't even make it to the end before he was defeated and didn't fight with Lu Ming. But then, Xiao Wuji looked pale and dispirited. He seemed to be injured. Not only him, but the other 3 young men and women were also injured. 2 of them are top geniuses on the Universe Prodigy list. Dark Knight Rose's methods are really shocking, Lu Ming exclaimed in his heart. As for the other 3 young men and women, Lu Ming had seen 2 of them before. They were top geniuses on the Universe Prodigy list and were very powerful. But now, they had joined Dark Knight Rose. Dark Knight Rose had created Huiying Alliance back then to network all the heroes in the world and build a force that was comparable to the Heavenly Palace. Back then, Lu Ming had scoffed, but now, he couldn't help but admire Dark Knight Rose's methods. Up until now, the number of geniuses that Dark Knight Rose had recruited was already very shocking. These were top geniuses. In the future, even if Huiying Alliance couldn't compare to the Heavenly Palace, it could at least become a powerful force in the primitive universe. Dark Knight Rose, you said it was a misunderstanding. Tell me, what misunderstanding is it? Xian Yinqing said coldly. You said that we attacked you. This is a misunderstanding. We didn't attack you. We were attacked ourselves. Previously, I thought that you were secretly attacking us. Dark Knight Rose said. You think we didn't attack you just because you said so? Wan Shen said unhappily. Then I would like to ask, how is the combat power of the people who attacked you? Do we have the combat power to do so? Dark Knight Rose said. Her words made Wan Shen's expression freeze. Indeed, the people who attacked them previously were very powerful. The four of them together weren't a match for them. Dark Knight Rose and the others obviously didn't have the strength. If I'm not wrong, the people who attacked you are stronger than us. Similarly, the people who attacked us previously are stronger than you. If I didn't use a special method, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to escape. Dark Knight Rose said. Looks like it's really a misunderstanding. Lu Ming smiled. In fact, he had thought of this when they exchanged blows earlier. That was why he had asked Xian Yinqing, Autumn Moon, and Wan Shen to stop. But just now, you were the ones who attacked first. The Myriad God said with some displeasure. Chapter 44-67. In fact, Di Jiani had already believed the other party's words. Although he looked boorish, he was not reckless. Instead, he was very meticulous and could naturally figure it out. However, Di Jiani was the one who had attacked first, which made him very unhappy. That's why I said it's a misunderstanding. Just now, we felt that someone was watching us in the dark. We were afraid that the person who attacked us would catch up with us, so we took the initiative to attack. Anya Rose explained. Previously, the atmosphere was indeed very tense. Both of them had been attacked in the dark. Hence, when they sensed that there was someone in the dark, they instinctively felt that it was dangerous and that someone had ill intentions towards them. When one party attacked, it naturally led to a huge battle. Hee hee. Wan Shen chuckled unhappily. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, why don't we work together? Anya Rose suddenly turned her gaze and said. Work together? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. That's right. I guess you guys have also been attacked by the Heavenly Human Tribe. In this ancient city, the Heavenly Human Tribe is undoubtedly the strongest. The Heavenly Human Tribe wants to kill us and take our Vitality Stone fragments. We are definitely no match for the Heavenly Human Tribe alone. Only by working together can we contend against the Heavenly Human Tribe. Anya Rose said. Even if we work together, we can't contend against the Heavenly Human Tribe with just the two of us. Lu Ming said. Although we can't contend against them, we have a higher chance of success. If we encounter the Heavenly Human Tribe, it will be less dangerous. Moreover, we can work together with more people. This time, all of the people who have Vitality Stone fragments have gathered together. We can all work together. As far as I know, some of them have already joined forces. There is no lack of divine masters among them. As long as we work together, we may be able to contend against the Heavenly Human Tribe. Anya Rose said. One had to admit that this woman was indeed very scheming. Although they were both reincarnated, Xian Yinqing was far less scheming than Anya Rose. What do you guys think? Lu Ming looked at Xian Yinqing, Autumn Moon, and Wan Shen. Lu Ming, you make the decision. Xian Yinqing said. I'll listen to young master. Autumn Moon nodded repeatedly. Lu Ming, you've always been resourceful. You make the decision, and I'll follow suit. Haha. The Myriad God laughed. Seeing this, Dark Knight Rose was very envious. She intended to gather all the heroes in the world to create the Huiying Alliance. Although she had successfully recruited a group of top geniuses, no matter how talented they were, how could they compare to Lu Ming and the others? Putting Lu Ming aside for now, Xian Yanqing and Wan Shen both had 12-star battle prowess. In the Huiying alliance, only she, as the alliance leader, had such combat power. As for the weakest, Autumn Moon, she had a 9-aperture Sacred Heart and possessed 11 stars of battle prowess. Her potential was enormous. It would be great if these people could join the Huiying alliance and become her people. Of course, she could only think about it. All right, I promise you. Lu Ming nodded, agreeing to Dark Knight Rose's request. He had made this decision after careful consideration. If they did not cooperate, it would indeed be very inconvenient for the 4 of them to move around in the ancient city. Firstly, they had to guard against the heavenly human tribe, and secondly, they had to guard against other people's sneak attacks. It could be said that it was difficult to move an inch. It was not easy to stay alive, let alone obtain any treasures. However, if they cooperated with more people, the situation would at least not worsen. Therefore, Lu Ming agreed to cooperate. All right, then let's leave this place quickly. I happen to know where some people are. We can go and find them. Dark Knight Rose. Immediately, Lu Ming's group of 4 and Dark Knight Rose's group left this place. Dark Knight Rose led the way and flew in a direction. Of course, it was impossible for Lu Ming and the others to completely trust Dark Knight Rose and the others. It was not that easy. Similarly, Dark Knight Rose and the others could not completely trust Lu Ming and the others. On the surface, the 2 sides were cooperating, but they were still wary of each other. In the blink of an eye, a few days had passed. Although they had encountered the heavenly human tribe in the past few days, they had avoided them in advance. In addition, they did not encounter any attacks from other people. It seemed that after they joined forces, the other party was also afraid of their strength. After a few days, the fog dissipated. They did not move forward anymore, but found a hidden place to stay. They would wait for the fog to reappear half a month later before continuing their journey. After a few days, Di Jiani, Xiao Wuji, and the others had recovered from their injuries. They were all seizing the time to cultivate. The people here had reached the peak of the 9th layer of the Divine Lord Realm. The next step was to break through to the Divine Lord Realm. They were all preparing to break through to the Divine Lord Realm. Especially Dark Knight Rose and Xian Yanqing, who were the closest to the Divine Lord Realm. They were cultivating all the time, preparing to break through to the Divine Lord Realm. 15 days passed in the blink of an eye. Then, the fog rose again. Lu Ming and the others set off again, moving forward with the help of the fog. After a few days, they arrived at a place full of rocks. The Life Spirit Heavenly Court was too big. It was even bigger than the Dragon Tribe's mother planet. Naturally, it was not all kinds of buildings. There were many other complicated terrains. For example, this area was full of rocks. These rocks were tall and majestic. Some were like mountains, some were like sharp swords, and some were even like various living beings. These rocks seem to have formed some kind of formation, Xian Yanqing whispered. It has indeed formed some kind of formation. It's easy to get lost. But it shouldn't be difficult for us to get in and out, Dark Knight Rose said to Xian Yanqing. After all, they were experts of the origin realm in their previous lives. They were experienced and knowledgeable. This kind of formation formed by rocks was not particularly profound. It could not trap them. There are some people in these rocks. Let's go in. Dark Knight Rose said. After saying that, she rushed into the rocks first. Di Jiani, Yin Jioling, Ling Heng, Xiao Wuji and the others followed closely behind. Let's go too. Lu Ming said and followed them into the rocks. As soon as they entered the rocks, the surrounding rocks seemed to move on their own. But when they looked closely, they did not seem to move. However, Lu Ming found that the terrain had changed. The surroundings seemed to be full of rocks and it was difficult to distinguish the direction. It's really a formation. But this formation is not profound. Lu Ming was also proficient in formations in the past. Although he had fallen behind in these years, his foundation was still there. After careful observation, he found something fishy. However, Dark Knight Rose and Xia Nianqing found it earlier. They took the lead and moved in one direction. 2 hours later, "Who are you? Stand there. If you continue to move forward, we will attack." Suddenly, a cold voice sounded out. "Everyone, don't misunderstand. We also have the fragments of the Life Spirit Vitality Stone. We want to cooperate with you to fight against the heavenly human tribe together." Dark Knight Rose said hurriedly. "It's you, Lu Ming, Xia Nianqing, Dark Knight Rose, Wan Shen." Suddenly, there were a few exclamations. Obviously, someone recognized Lu Ming and the others. Chapter 44-68. Someone recognized Lu Ming and the others and exclaimed in shock. Now, only the heavenly human tribe in this ancient city would not recognize Lu Ming and the others since they had been cooped up in one place for thousands of years. It would be hard not to recognize Lu Ming and the others if they had dreamed sacred jade in a bigger place. Of course, it would be a different story if they did not have dreamed sacred jade in places like the Taishu dynasty. As a few shocked voices rang out, a figure flashed, and a dozen figures appeared in the surrounding rubble. Among them, there were 5 young people. The rest were either middle-aged or elderly. Lu Ming and the others were not surprised. It was impossible for all of them to have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. It was possible that only the young ones had them, and the older ones did not. They just happened to come in together. For example, Xia Nianqing, Qiu Yu, and Wan Shen did not have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. They had come in like Lu Ming. It was the same for the others. For example, Anya Rose and the others did not have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. In fact, only Anya Rose, Di Jiani, and Xiao Wuji had Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. The others were brought in by Anya Rose, mainly for opportunities. These few people, Lu Ming looked around and realized that there were a few young people who were on the Universe Prodigy list. They were ranked very high. One of them was even in the top 10 of the Universe Prodigy list. "Everyone, how about we work together?" Anya Rose asked again. "You were attacked by the heavenly human tribe too?" asked one of the young people. His name was Biyao, and he was ranked 5th on the Universe Prodigy list. He was an absolute demon with a battle power of 10 stars. "That's right. The heavenly human tribe came 3,000 years ago, and there are many of them. As far as I know, there are more than 20 almighty beings. Now, they are hunting people who have Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments. If we don't work together, we will be defeated one by one and be robbed of our Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments," Anya Rose said. Dark Knight Rose said, wanting to facilitate this cooperation. In fact, Dark Knight Rose didn't care about these young men at all. The strongest among them was Biyao, who only had a battle prowess of 10 stars. He was not enough to be defeated by her with a single slap. She was only interested in the older ones. These people were most likely the elders or subordinates of those young men. Their auras were astonishing, and no less than 5 of them had reached the Divine Master realm. With the addition of these people, their strength would definitely increase greatly. "All right, I agree to cooperate. What about you?" Biyao said as he looked at the other young men. "I have no objections. Now it seems that we can only deal with the heavenly human tribe by working together." The other young men nodded in agreement. Since both sides had no objections, they naturally hit it off and quickly reached an agreement. Then, it was time to discuss the details. In the end, everyone decided to find more people to work with. It would be best to gather all the people who had fragments of vitality stones together to fight against the heavenly human tribe. At the same time, they would work together to find the ancient ruins in the heavenly court. As long as they had enough people working with them, they would have enough Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments in their hands. At that time, if they encountered something similar to what the heavenly human tribe encountered and needed enough Life Spirit Vitality Stone fragments to open, they would be able to open it directly. As for the treasures inside, it would depend on their own abilities. After discussing, they planned to send people to the vicinity of this rocky area. As long as they saw living beings who were not from the heavenly human tribe passing by, they would pull them over to cooperate. Of course, their base camp was still in this rocky area. This rocky area formed a formation. Once the heavenly human tribe attacked, they could use the formation here to easily escape. Even if the fog dissipated, they could still escape. If there was no fog in other places, once they were surrounded by the heavenly human tribe, it would be difficult to escape. Lu Ming, Anya Rose, and the others first familiarized themselves with the operation of the formation in this rocky area. After a few days, when they were completely familiar with it, Lu Ming and the others scattered around the rocky area and waited for others to pass by. As for looking for people to cooperate with, it was too unrealistic and too dangerous. They could only wait in the vicinity. They cultivated and waited at the same time. When there was no fog, the heavenly human tribe would also come to this area to investigate. However, once they sensed the heavenly human tribe approaching, they would hide in advance. Therefore, the heavenly human tribe would fail every time. Just like that, time flew by. Soon, Lu Ming and the others had been in this area for more than half a year. In this more than half a year, their team grew stronger and stronger. Now, there were almost 50 people in total. Of course, there were only a dozen people who actually had fragments of vitality stones. The rest of the people had followed along. Among them, there were as many as 10 divine masters. This gave them a lot of confidence. Among the 10 divine masters, the strongest was a second-level divine master. There were a total of 3 second-level divine masters. This was also the reason why their team could exist. There was no imbalance in strength. If one of them was especially strong, such as a third-level divine master, it would be very difficult for them to cooperate. It was very likely that the third-level divine master would directly attack the others and steal their fragments of vitality stones. 3 second-level divine masters and 7 first-level divine masters could form a restriction. Only by cooperating could they achieve success. At this time, the group decided to leave this rocky area. They were going to look for opportunities in the Life Soul Heavenly Court. This was the Life Soul Heavenly Court. Everyone was tempted. If they could find one of the 3 legendary treasures of the Life Soul Heavenly Court, they might be able to soar. This was especially true for the weaker geniuses, such as Biyao, who were even more excited. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya Rose, and the others were now looking down on the younger generation of the primitive universe. They were envious, jealous, and even more eager to obtain the treasures of the Life Soul Heavenly Court. Once they obtained them, they might surpass Lu Ming and the others. They could look down on the primitive universe and suppress an era. The group chose to leave the rocky area during a period of fog and headed toward the center of the Life Soul Heavenly Court. The more people there were, the braver they became. They sped up. Nearly 50 figures flashed forward in the fog. Ah! Suddenly, a scream rang out. Damn it, it's the heavenly human tribe. Friends, kill them. Kill them all. A loud roar came from the front left. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others heard the roar and immediately rushed toward the front left. According to the agreement, no matter who was attacked by the heavenly human tribe, the others had to go and help. However, when Lu Ming and the others arrived, there was no need for them to do anything. This was because the dozen or so heavenly human tribe members had been surrounded. At this time, the heavenly human tribe members were pale. They looked at the 50 people around them in a daze. Chapter 44-69. What are you trying to do? Are you going to rebel? I recognize you. Devil race, blood race, Buddha race. One of the celestial clan members shouted loudly. His eyes were cold as he threatened everyone. Humph, even at a time like this, you're still threatening us? Simply laughable. If we don't kill you, you'll kill us. Dark Knight Rose said. That's right. As long as we kill them all, who will know that we did it? Lu Ming continued. You two brats, you're courting death. The eyes of the Divine Master Realm Heavenly Human widened as he stared at Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose. He wanted nothing more than to eat them alive. However, his heart was trembling. He was a first-tier Divine Master. However, there were a total of 10 first-layer Divine Masters surrounding him. Even though he was confident that the fighting strength of the celestial race far surpassed those of the same level, there was still a second-layer Divine Master among them. He would definitely be no match for them and would be killed. Originally, he wanted to threaten these people. Most of these people were from races under the rule of the Heavenly Palace. Threatening them might work. After all, the Heavenly Human tribe had accumulated too much power. Originally, he had already seen fear in some people's eyes. However, because of Dark Knight Rose and Lu Ming's words, the fear in their eyes disappeared and was replaced by cold killing intent. Damn it. He really wanted to skin Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose alive. Everyone, what are you still standing there for? Hurry up and attack. Once the Heavenly Human race's reinforcements arrive, the ones who won't be able to escape will be us. Lu Ming shouted. Little bastard, shut up, the Heavenly Human clan's Divine Master roared. Kill. Lu Ming shouted and punched out. A fist energy rushed towards the celestial race expert. Pull one hair and the whole body will be affected. As soon as Lu Ming made his move, the others immediately followed suit. Kill. Wave after wave of attacks rained down on the Heavenly Human tribe members. There were so many experts, including 10 Divine Lords and 3 second-level Divine Lords. These Heavenly Humans simply couldn't withstand them. They roared, they threatened, they despaired, and they were killed. After a single wave of attacks, the dozen or so Heavenly Humans were all killed. Then, they burned the corpses of the dozen or so celestial race cultivators and quickly left this place. Awesome. Yeah, it's so fucking satisfying. Killing the Heavenly Humans is so satisfying. That's right. These Heavenly Humans are usually high and mighty. It's as if other than the Heavenly Humans, all the other races in the universe are ants. It's really annoying to look at them. This time, if I have the chance, I'll kill a few more. Some people discussed in secret, their eyes filled with excitement. These people had been oppressed by the Heavenly Human tribe for too long. Now that they had killed more than a dozen Heavenly Human tribe members, they immediately felt refreshed. They continued forward. In the following day, they didn't encounter anyone from the Heavenly Human tribe. Gradually, the crowd became bolder. The distance between them gradually widened and widened. After all, they belonged to more than 10 different factions. Although they had cooperated, they all had their own thoughts. Once they encountered any fortuitous encounter, they could take it for themselves and not share it with others. In the end, there's still a sheet of loose sand. If they really encounter a third-level Divine Master from the Heavenly Human tribe, they probably won't be able to withstand a single blow. Lu Ming shook his head inwardly. Third-level Divine Masters were much stronger than second-level Divine Masters. With the strength of so many people, if they worked together, they might even be able to contend against a third-level Divine Master. However, looking at the situation, it would be difficult for them to work together if they really encountered danger. Ah! Ah! Suddenly, 2 screams came from the right side. However, after these 2 screams, they immediately fell silent. The expressions of the others changed. Were they attacked by the Heavenly Human tribe again? Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Dark Knight Rose, and the others quickly rushed in the direction of the screams. When they arrived, they saw 2 corpses. One was a young man, and the other was an old man. At this moment, there were already some people surrounding them. These people's expressions were somewhat ugly. This was because the old man was a first-level Divine Master. What's going on? Don't you see the Heavenly Human tribe? Someone asked among the people who arrived later. No. When we arrived, we saw that they were already killed. However, we didn't see anyone else. He was also a divine master. I don't see anyone else. Could it be that the celestial race immediately retreated after they succeeded in killing the celestial race? Are they hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to attack? Someone said, his expression becoming serious. Many people involuntarily scanned their surroundings. They were incomparably vigilant, fearing that the celestial tribe's experts would suddenly attack. Has the Yuan Road's life spirit Yuan stone fragment disappeared? Dark Knight Rose asked. Yuan Lu was the young man who had been killed. That's right, his primordial stone fragment has indeed disappeared. A divine master old man replied. Let me take a look at his wound, Dark Knight Rose said. There's no need to look anymore. We've already examined them. It was indeed done by the celestial race. There's heavenly power left in their wounds. The old man from before said. However, Dark Knight Rose didn't pay attention to him. She walked over and checked carefully. Then, Dark Knight Rose retreated expressionlessly. She came to Lu Ming's side and said, Lu Ming, why don't you go and have a look too? Oh. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Dark Knight Rose also asked him to have a look. Could it be that she had discovered something? Lu Ming also walked over. He used his spiritual senses to check the wounds of the two men. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. However, the expression on his face did not change at all. He also retreated without saying a word. It seems that the celestial race is really hiding in the dark. We have to be careful later. Someone said. We were too scattered and too far away from each other before. That's why the celestial race had an opportunity to take advantage of us. Later, they'll be closer. That's right. Everyone chimed in one after another. Lu Ming, let's stay closer to each other. What do you think? Dark Knight Rose transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. Of course. Lu Ming replied. After a while, they continued to set off. However, they did not dare to be too far apart from each other. Instead, they gathered together and continued to move forward. In particular, Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose's groups were even closer to each other. For the next half a day, there was no movement at all. The celestial race did not continue to attack. Everyone's hearts relaxed a little. It seemed that as long as they gathered together, the celestial race would not dare to attack. They were afraid of their strength. However, Lu Ming, Dark Knight Rose, and the others did not think much of it. They could kill a first-layer divine master with a single blow and disappear without a trace before the others arrived. Would they be afraid of them? Chapter 4470. Lu Ming, Anya Rose, and the others didn't dare to relax. They were constantly looking around. Suddenly, ah! In the thick fog, a few more screams were heard. Who is it? You're courting death. Then, a few angry roars were heard. A few attacks were launched in that direction, but after one attack, they stopped. Whoosh! 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 The others rushed over, but they only saw 3 corpses. Among the corpses, one was a young genius. Everyone recognized him. He was a genius on the universe genius list, but he was dead. The other corpses were a middle-aged man and an old man. The middle-aged man had the strength of the 9th great supreme god layer, and the old man was a godly master. Now, they were all dead. What's going on? We were so close. How could they kill us? Why didn't I sense anything? Did you see them? No. Everyone was talking at once. The more they talked, the uglier their faces became. They were already very close to each other, but they were still ambushed. A divine master expert and a genius were killed, and a life spirit origin stone fragment was taken away. How did they do it? Of course, they couldn't be within 100 meters of each other. They were at least a few hundred meters away from each other. A few hundred meters was really close to them. They could arrive in a blink of an eye. Although their vision was limited to 100 meters in this place, they would be able to detect the slightest movement in an instant. Logically speaking, it was difficult for the heavenly human tribe to ambush them at such a close distance. But the fact was, someone was really ambushed and killed. Without anyone noticing, by the time the others arrived, the enemy had already disappeared. This was a bit strange. Damn the heavenly human tribe. How did they do it? Damn it. Some people roared. They were furious, but there was nothing they could do. At this time, Lu Ming and Anya Rose went forward to check the wounds. Then, they looked at each other and retreated. No matter what, they had to continue walking. Everyone calmed down and continued on their journey. But this time, they were more cautious. More than 40 people gathered within 100 meters. They moved forward under the double detection of sight and spiritual awareness. This time, there was no movement for a few days, and they were not attacked by the heavenly human tribe. Could it be that the heavenly human tribe saw that we were gathered together and couldn't do anything, so they left? It's very likely that we're heading in the opposite direction of Yi Wu of the heavenly human tribe. We're getting further and further away from the heavenly human tribe. It's normal for them to leave after seeing that they can't do anything to us. However, I still can't let my guard down. Everyone discussed for a moment. Another day later, the fog receded. His field of vision suddenly widened, and his spiritual sense was no longer obstructed. He was able to explore very far places. Everyone immediately extended their spiritual senses to investigate, but in the end, they found nothing. Look around. Many people flew up and flew in all directions to see if there were any traces of the heavenly human tribe. Now that the fog had retreated, there was one advantage, and that was that there was no need to worry about sneak attacks. Even though they were very far away, everyone could still see each other. If there was any movement, the others would be able to help in an instant. However, even after searching a large area, they still couldn't find any traces of the heavenly human tribe. There was no trace of the heavenly human tribe's aura either. Only then did everyone heave a sigh of relief. It seemed that the heavenly human tribe had really retreated. With a wide field of vision and no heavenly human tribe around, everyone sped up. It had to be said that the ancient city was really huge. Moreover, they couldn't fully utilize their speed here. After a few days of traveling, they were still in the outer area. They had not reached the core area yet. Look, that mountain is very special. Suddenly, someone pointed at a large mountain in the distance. Everyone looked over, and their expressions changed. The mountain was shaped like a ferocious beast. Its mouth was wide open, but there was a stone door in its mouth. The stone door was closed. Other than that, there were no other doors around it. Everyone's eyes flickered. There was indeed something strange about that mountain. The various buildings that they had encountered before could be entered at will, but there were no stone doors in those buildings. However, that place was different. The stone door was closed. Could there be treasures in that mountain? Everyone's eyes immediately lit up. Let's go. Needless to say, everyone rushed toward the mountain. Soon, they arrived not far away from the stone door. Someone directly attacked and blasted out a burst of energy, bombarding the stone door. Boom! When the energy hit the stone door, dense runes suddenly appeared on and around the stone door, blocking the energy. An array formation. Everyone's hearts skipped a beat, and they became even more excited. That was the first time they had seen a place protected by a rune array formation after entering the ancient city. There might really be treasures inside. The heavenly court has been destroyed by the heavenly palace for countless years. Even if there is a rune array formation, it must not be very powerful after so many years. If we join forces and attack it together, we will definitely be able to destroy this rune array formation. Someone suggested. Of course, no one objected. They all attacked. Powerful attacks bombarded the stone door. The stone door rumbled and exploded. The sound spread far and wide, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. They were afraid that it would attract the powerhouses of the heavenly human tribe. However, in the face of a possible treasure, no one was willing to give up. That was a treasure left behind by the heavenly court. What if it was a heaven-defying treasure? Everyone gritted their teeth and continued to attack. In the blink of an eye, half a day had passed. Fortunately, it did not attract the attention of the heavenly human tribe. However, what made everyone speechless was that after half a day of bombardment, the stone door still did not move. Looking at the runes on the array formation, the light did not seem to have weakened. This rune array formation is so difficult to break. If this continues, we might not be able to break it even after a few months. It will be troublesome if the powerhouses of the heavenly human tribe are attracted. Someone said. Let's see if the vitality stone fragments are useful. Let's take them out and try. An old man suggested. The old man's name was Chu Yi, and he was one of the 3 second-level divine master experts. Moreover, this old man was very special because he controlled a vitality stone fragment. The other older people had followed the younger people and did not have life spirit primordial stone fragments themselves. This was because the vitality stone fragments would choose the more talented people as their masters. Alright, let's try it together. Hearing Chu Yi's words, everyone nodded and had no objections. Then, they took out the life spirit vitality stone fragments. Buzz! Buzz! As soon as the vitality stone fragments were taken out, they trembled slightly and resonated with each other. Chapter 44-71. When everyone took out their life spirit vitality stone fragments, all of them resonated with each other and emitted a rich light. The radiance gathered together and flew towards the stone door. When the radiance enveloped the stone door, the runes on and around the stone door quickly melted like snow meeting fire. It works. Everyone's eyes lit up. It turned out that the natal spirit stone fragments were really useful. With enough natal spirit stone fragments, one could really open some ancient ruins in the natal spirit heavenly court. Could it be that the natal spirit stone fragments were equivalent to a key? That was really possible. In just a few breaths, the runes around the stone door had completely disappeared. Boom! Someone made a move and continued to blast out a beam of energy, bombarding the stone door. This time, there was no rune array blocking it. With a click, the stone door opened under the force of the energy. Many people's eyes lit up and they could not hold back. In a flash, they rushed into the stone door. Let's go. Let's go too. Those who had fragments of life spirit primordial stones put them away and led their people towards the stone door. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Anya Rose and the others also rushed into the stone door. Behind the stone door was a passageway. It was obvious that this passageway had been forcefully carved out of the mountain and it was slanted downwards. Everyone followed the passageway and before long, they arrived at a huge underground space. This underground space was very wide and one could not see the end of it. It was like a world. What a rich divine qi. And what a rich metal qi. Lu Ming and the group's hearts stirred as they looked around. This underground space had an extremely special environment. It had an extremely rich divine qi that floated in the air like a mist, as if it was about to materialize. At the same time, it had an extremely rich metal qi. Rare metal materials could probably be born here. I'll breathe, I'll breathe, I'll breathe, breathe, breathe. On Lu Ming's wrist, Qiuqiu opened its mouth and tried its best to absorb the metal qi in the air. It was obvious how rich the metal qi was. Even Qiuqiu was alarmed. Look, what's that? Someone exclaimed and looked at the stone door in front of them. Everyone flew over and arrived before the stone tablet. The stone tablet wasn't big. It was only 10 feet tall, and there were some words written on it. The ancient chaotic heaven sword is Divine Lord Chaotic Heaven's personal sword. It fought alongside Divine Lord Chaotic Heaven for half of his life, and after it was destroyed, it was sealed here. These were the words on the stone tablet. At this moment, everyone realized that there was a big box under the stone tablet. It was impossible to tell what material the chest was made of, but it was covered with magical symbols that formed a spell formation that constantly absorbed the god items and metal energy in the area. Could it be that the ancient Chaotic Heaven sword is in this chest? Unfortunately, it's a broken sword. Even if it's a broken sword, it's still a main-grade divine weapon. If it's well preserved, the materials used to refine it can be used to forge a main-grade divine weapon. Not bad, open it and take a look. Immediately, several people made their moves. The rune array on the big box was not a defensive array. It was only used to absorb the surrounding divine artifacts and metal chi, so it could be easily destroyed. In just a few moments, the rune array on the box was destroyed, and then the box was opened. Immediately, a powerful sword chi rushed out of the chest. Furthermore, a dense black fog appeared. Within the mist, there seemed to be souls howling and howling. What powerful sword chi! Look! It's a sword! Several people cried out in alarm. Everyone looked over, and sure enough, there was a pitch-black battle sword in the chest. However, this sword was not complete. The tip of the sword had been broken, but it still retained a powerful intelligence. This could be seen from the sword chi it exuded. Such powerful sword chi. This sword is definitely a main-grade divine weapon, and a top-class one at that. Although it's broken, it's been preserved too well. Its intelligence is intact. If a master artificer were to extract the materials inside and combine them with other materials, he might be able to forge a new main-grade divine weapon. I want this sword. Swish. Someone reached out to grab the ancient Chaotic Heaven sword in the box. But how could the others just give it up? They immediately made their own moves. Boom. 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 After exchanging a few blows, they were forced to retreat and stand off. I found this steel first. You want to fight with me? A youth shouted. Who said you found it first? You were the first to speak, so you found it first? This old man found it before you even spoke. An old man sneered. I found it as soon as I entered. Another youth called out. No one was willing to back down. This old man wants this ancient sword. Suddenly, Chu-Yi made his move. He took a step forward, unleashing a berserk aura that forced the others back. Then, he reached out to grab the ancient Chaotic Heaven sword. He was a second-level god lord, so the others would find it difficult to contend against him. Only the other two god lords could contend against him, but their eyes flickered several times, but they did not make a move. It was not worth it to risk their lives against an expert of the same level for a broken main-grade divine weapon. In the end, the ancient Chaotic Heaven sword fell into Chu-Yi's hands. Eat. I want to eat. I want to eat. Qiuqiu struggled on his wrist, but he was suppressed by Lu Ming. It's really good stuff, but this old man is too strong. He's hard to deal with, Lu Ming sighed softly. This broken ancient sword was well preserved and full of spirituality. It was a great supplement for Qiuqiu. Lu Ming really wanted to snatch it for Qiuqiu to eat and increase his strength. Qiuqiu's strength had fallen too far behind theirs. Qiuqiu was in a miserable state in Zenith's supreme immortal city because his strength had not increased by much. Qiuqiu could only continuously increase his strength by continuously absorbing metallic materials or divine weapons made of metal. He was not interested in the divine medicines mentioned above and had no effect on them. The desolation pills in Zenith's supreme immortal city were great supplements for others and could allow their cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds, but their effects were limited for Qiuqiu. Refining the desolation pills made Qiuqiu's strength increase very slowly. The weapons and pill furnaces in Zenith's supreme immortal city were protected by the intents and laws of Zenith's supreme immortal city, so Qiuqiu could not eat them at all. During his 50 years in Zenith's supreme immortal city, Chocho had found several pieces of special metals. However, the metals in Zenith's supreme immortal city were no small matter. Chocho had only found 3 pieces, and after refining them, his cultivation had increased by leaps and bounds. He was now at the 6th level of the great supreme god realm. But compared to Lu Ming and the others, he was still too weak. Lu Ming wanted to find some precious metals or high-level broken divine weapons for Chocho to devour. The ancient chaotic heaven sword was a very good food. Chapter 4472. The ancient chaotic heaven sword was a top-grade divine weapon, and the materials used to forge it were extremely precious. If Chocho had devoured it, it would have been of great help. Unfortunately, it had fallen into Chu Yi's hands. Trying to take it from a second-level god lord was tantamount to snatching food from a tiger's mouth. There's also a steal over there. All of a sudden, someone shouted softly. Everyone hurriedly looked over. While this person was speaking, someone had already charged over. Let's go. Everyone's figure moved, and they rushed over there. There was indeed a steal there, almost identical to the one on the ancient chaotic heaven sword. Boom! At this moment, a great battle had already broken out, divine power bursting forth. The first few groups of people to arrive had already begun to attack. By the time Lu Ming and the others arrived, they discovered that there was indeed a large chest under the steel. The chest had already been opened, and terrifying ripples were emanating from within. These ripples were boundless and lofty, as if they were the origin of everything, the core of the universe. Origin. This was an source-level divine weapon. At this moment, everyone's hearts trembled, their eyes blazing with desire. The remaining 8 god lords in particular had even more fervent looks in their eyes. The 8 divine lord realm experts all charged at the chest. Then, a great battle erupted. The chaotic battle between the 8 god lords was incomparably intense. Terrifying ripples of energy swept out in all directions like a terrifying wave. Those below the god lord level retreated. Only a small number of people were able to block this wave of energy. For example, Lu Ming's group and Anya Rose's group had to be at least a 9th level god emperor to be able to stabilize themselves. However, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya Rose, and the others did not move. Although there was an source-level divine weapon in the chest, it was clearly incomplete, with only half of it remaining. Of course, it was very well preserved, and its spirituality was still present. If one could extract the materials within, it would still fetch an astonishing price. However, it was truly too difficult to take it from the hands of 8 greedy god lords. Moreover, there were 3 second-level god lords. Even if they could take it, they would become a target for everyone. The 8 god lords exchanged several dozen blows, and the battle grew more and more intense. Kill! Chu Yi roared as his sword pierced through the forehead of a first-tier divine lord. Destructive sword chi instantly obliterated this person's soul and cosmic bridge. A first-layer divine master expert had fallen. Bang! At the same time, another first-layer divine master was struck by a second-layer divine master. His body was torn apart, and as he screamed, his body and soul were destroyed. In the blink of an eye, 2 first-layer divine lords had been killed. Out of the 8, only 6 remained. 3 second-level divine masters and 3 third-level divine masters. At this moment, the 3 first-layer divine masters were greatly shocked. They retreated frantically, not daring to participate in the fight. The difference in strength between a first-level divine master and a second-level divine master was still too great. Fighting over treasures among second-level divine masters was an act of courting death. Boom! 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 There were still 3 second-layer divine masters left, and the battle became even more intense. All sorts of killing moves were unleashed, and the sky darkened. One could see that of the 3, Chu Yi was slightly stronger. In this chaotic battle, he slowly gained the upper hand, almost obtaining the damaged soul-level divine weapon several times. However, each time Chu Yi was about to obtain it, the other two would work together to push him back. In the blink of an eye, the two sides had exchanged more than 100 blows. All three of them were injured, and their auras were rather weak. They retreated, cautiously looking at each other. "Everyone, let's stop fighting. We weren't strong to begin with, and if we continue to suffer losses, if we leave this place and run into the celestial race, we'll probably all be wiped out. That won't do anyone any good." At this moment, Dark Knight Rose stood out and said, "That's true, but who will this damaged soul-level divine weapon belong to?" A second-layer divine Lord Elder asked. "Senior, why are you so concerned about this damaged divine weapon? I estimate that this place is where the Life-Soul Heavenly Court buried the damaged divine weapon. There are probably more in other places. Some people have already gone to other places to search. If the three of you continue to fight like this, the gains will not make up for the losses." Anya Rose said. Just now, some people had indeed left to search in other directions. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others were also planning to leave. The eyes of the three second-layer divine lords flashed. They knew that Anya Rose's words were reasonable, but they were still unwilling to give up the soul-level divine weapon in front of them. This damaged soul-level divine weapon in front of them truly existed. There might not be any other damaged divine weapons in other places. And even if there were, there might not be any damaged soul-level divine weapons. The two of you, this damaged soul-level divine weapon is of great use to this old man. How about you give it to this old man? This old man can compensate you. Chu Yi said. The other two second-layer divine lords inwardly looked at him with disdain. Who wouldn't be of use to a damaged soul-level divine weapon? Only you would be of use to it. Compensation? What kind of compensation do you want to give? In the end, another second-level divine master spoke. He was still somewhat wary of Chu Yi's strength. Chu Yi was indeed slightly stronger among the three of them. Moreover, continuing the battle would be disadvantageous for them. He might not be able to take this damaged divine weapon in the end. More importantly, there might really be damaged soul-level divine weapons in other places. Many people had already gone there, so he was getting anxious. I will compensate you with some primary divine medicines and divine pills. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. Chu Yi said. Let's go. While Chu Yi's group was discussing, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Chiu Moon, and Wanshan had already left to search elsewhere. At the same time, Anya Rose led her group away. The three second-layer divine lords were even more anxious when they saw this. Not willing to delay, they casually discussed the compensation and left after receiving it. Chu Yi also obtained the damaged soul-level divine weapon as he wished. There should be more in this place. Chu Yi's eyes burned with passion as he also left. The group spread out to search the underground space. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others didn't have to search for long before they found a stone stele. The four of them hurriedly rushed over. God Lord Fan Ye's divine weapon, the Myriad Leaves Halberd, was destroyed and buried here. These were the words carved on the stone stele. There was indeed a large chest beneath the stone stele. The chest was covered in runes that absorbed the energy of the divine weapon and metal. The four worked together to break open the rune array on the chest. After opening it, they saw a damaged halberd. This was a broken primary grade divine weapon. Eat, I want to eat. Chiu couldn't hold himself back and began to struggle on his wrist. He bared his teeth and sent sparks flying. For you. Lu Ming grabbed the broken halberd in the air and passed it to Chiu. End of this chapter. Chapter 4473. Lu Ming handed the broken halberd to Chiu. Chiu was overjoyed. It flew out from Lu Ming's wrist, opened its mouth, and swallowed the broken halberd. Then, it revealed a satisfied and intoxicated expression. Lu Ming, it would be great if you could find me a few broken source-level mystical weapons. A few broken source-level mystical weapons? This guy, Lu Ming, was a little speechless. This guy was really insatiable. Source-level mystical weapons, even if they were broken, were not that easy to find. In the primitive universe, even broken source-level mystical weapons were considered great treasures. They were controlled by the powerful races and were extremely precious. Even in the merit exchange hall of the Heavenly Palace, there were no broken source-level mystical weapons. The best they had were broken master-level mystical weapons. Back then, Lu Ming had exchanged a few broken mystical weapons worth 1,000,000 merit points for Qiuqiu. They were broken master-level mystical weapons. The Heavenly Palace also treated broken source-level mystical weapons as treasures. Why would they exchange them? This was also the place where the Heavenly Palace buried the broken mystical weapons. It was possible for them to appear here. It was very, very difficult to buy a broken source-level mystical weapon in the universe. Even if one had the money, one might not be able to buy one. Also, Autumn Moon doesn't have a source-level mystical weapon yet. If there's a chance, I have to get one for Autumn Moon, Lu Ming thought to himself. Now, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and Wanshan all had source-level mystical weapons. Only Autumn Moon's weapon was still a master-level mystical weapon. This would have a significant impact on Autumn Moon's strength. Lu Ming planned to find a source-level mystical weapon for Autumn Moon. Of course, a source-level mystical weapon could only be found by chance. I'll try my best to find one for you. Digest it well, Lu Ming said to the ball. Qiuqiu's round body happily spun a few large circles before returning to Lu Ming's wrist. It transformed into a bracelet and began to digest that main-grade divine armament. Lu Ming and the other three continued to search in other directions. Not long after, they saw another stone tablet. However, the large chest below the stone tablet was already empty. Clearly, someone else had taken the lead. Lu Ming and the other three sped up. Finally, after a while, they saw another stone tablet. The divine weapon of Han Shen Yuan Zun, broken beyond repair, was buried here as a memorial. The words on the stone tablet made Lu Ming's heart beat faster. An origin exalt. This was a divine weapon at the origin realm. Could it be a source-level divine weapon? Lu Ming wasn't sure either. After all, a source-level divine weapon was too precious. There were extremely few source-level divine weapons in the primitive universe. Some of the weaker origin realm experts didn't even have a source-level divine weapon. Only a small number of source-level divine weapons in the primitive universe were forged by the experts of the primitive universe. Most of them were found in the ruins of the universe. They were products left behind from the previous era. Every path led to the origin. At the origin realm, many things were interconnected, whether it was weapons or other things. Therefore, although this was a divine weapon left behind by an origin realm expert, it might not be a source-level divine weapon. Open it and let's see. Lu Ming and the other three took action, constantly destroying the rune formation on the large chest. Not long after, the rune formation was broken. Lu Ming waved his hand and opened the chest. A vast aura permeated out. This aura was extremely shocking. It was extremely similar to the broken halberd that had caused the battle between Chu Yi and the others. Source-level divine weapon. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Qiuqiu jumped out from Lu Ming's wrist excitedly. Congratulations, young master. Qiuqiu Moon was also full of smiles. Then I'll use this divine weapon to feed this guy. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanqing and Wan Shen. What are you looking at me for? Is there a difference between your item and mine? Xian Yanqing rolled his eyes at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, take it. As long as it's useful to you, take it. You don't need to ask me. I already have a source-level divine weapon. Wan Shen laughed straightforwardly. Lu Ming nodded. He didn't hold back anymore and extended his hand to grab the broken source-level divine weapon. However, at this moment, a powerful force came from afar and went straight for Lu Ming's vital spot in the middle of his back. Be careful. Qiuqiu Moon and the others hurriedly warned. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He waved his hand and blasted backward, colliding with the force. With a loud bang, Lu Ming blocked the force. Lu Ming looked in that direction. Another figure continued to head in this direction. It was an old man. It's him. Lu Ming's lips curled as he recognized this old man. He was one of the 3 remaining first-layer god lords. The one who had attacked just now was clearly this person. The moment this old man arrived, he looked at the large box with a fiery gaze. An source-level divine weapon. The old man's eyes burned with passion. Gentlemen, this old man wants this broken source-level divine weapon. Gentlemen, please do as you please. The old man said. His eyes were fixed on the big box, unable to shift his gaze away. You want it? Old man, who do you think you are? You think you can get your hands on an source-level divine weapon? I'll give you a chance. Hurry up and scram. Wan Shen immediately roared. Little guy, what a big tone. What a big temper. The old man's gaze fell on Wan Shen as he said indifferently, I know all of you. I saw the recording of the battle in Taishang Immortal City in the illusory divine jade. All of you are peerless geniuses, but you are only god emperors. Do you really think you can fight against divine lords? This old man had seen the recording of Lu Ming and the others fighting in Taishang Immortal City in the illusory divine jade and knew that they were the top geniuses of the universe. However, the recording in the illusory divine jade was still a recording, so it was difficult for him to sense the powerful auras of Lu Ming and the others. Therefore, he couldn't truly sense the strength of Lu Ming and the others. As for him, he had full confidence in the fighting strength of a divine lord. He had once been a 9th-layer god emperor for more than 100 stellar years before breaking through to the divine lord realm by chance. The moment he broke through to the divine lord realm, he felt his fighting strength skyrocket. He felt that the divine lord realm was much stronger than the god emperor realm. He didn't believe that someone at the god emperor realm could fight against someone at the divine lord realm. He had heard that a 9th-layer god emperor with 9-star fighting strength could fight against an ordinary divine lord. However, he still didn't believe it and thought that the rumors were exaggerated. This was the blind confidence that powerful strength gave him. Hee, I'll give you 3 breaths of time to scram. If you don't, then don't. Wan Shen shouted coldly, his face darkening as killing intent appeared. What a big tone. I'd like to see how you're going to make me scram. The old man sneered. Before Wan Shen could start the countdown, his figure flashed and he pounced on Wan Shen. Boom! He punched out, his fist energy condensing into a towering mountain that pressed down on Wan Shen. Chapter 4474. Paltry Tricks. Myriad God bellowed coldly as he punched out as well, striking the mountain. Boom! The mountain exploded, but Wan Shen continued to charge at the elder. He reached out and grabbed at the air, causing a massive stone gate to appear. This was the origin secret technique, the God's Gate. The God's Gate was massive, and Wan Shen grabbed it and smashed it at the elder. Sensing the berserk power of the God's Gate, the elder paled and hurriedly used all his strength to block. He punched out with both fists, condensing a star in the air. Boom! The star collided with the Sovereign's Gate, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Next, cracks appeared on the star, and then it exploded. The elder retreated, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He had been injured by Wan Shen in one move. Such strength, yet you're so blindly confident. You're far inferior to the celestial race's god lords. Wan Shen mocked. Indeed, they were both first-level god lords, but this elder's strength was far inferior to the celestial race's god lords. Wan Shen could even suppress a first-level god lord of the celestial race, let alone this elder. It was normal for him to injure him in one move. Bang! Wan Shen grabbed the God's Gate and took a step forward. The earth rumbled, and his aura surged toward the elder like a raging ocean. The elder was nearly frightened to death. He hurriedly yelled, wait a moment. It's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. He was truly frightened to death. Wan Shen's strength had far exceeded his expectations. He finally knew that the rumors were true. A 9th-level God Emperor with 9-star combat strength could contend against the most ordinary 1st-level God Lord. Although God Lords were powerful, those monsters were even more heaven-defying. He had seen the recording of the competition in Zenith's Supreme Immortal City. Of the 4 people present, Wan Shen was not the strongest. Xian Yanqing and Lu Ming were ranked above Wan Shen. One was first and the other was third. Wasn't this strength even more terrifying? He cursed himself in his heart. He shouldn't have been so greedy and confident to provoke these monsters. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? The myriad god sneered. Everything just now was a misunderstanding. I was just testing your strength so that I could make better arrangements when dealing with the heavenly human tribe later. Now, it has proven that your strength is beyond my imagination. So, I can rest assured. The old man was spouting nonsense without batting an eyelid. Don't spout nonsense. Die. Myriad God bellowed and was about to attack. The old man's expression changed drastically. He turned around and ran. However, Lu Ming had unknowingly appeared behind this person and pressed down with his palm. The old man hurriedly raised his fist to block. With a boom, half of the old man's body was trapped in the ground. Indeed, even more perverted. The old man roared in his heart, but his mouth was shouting, spare me, it's really a misunderstanding. He screamed miserably, tears almost falling out of his eyes. As a divine master, it was quite difficult for him to have such acting skills. Hand over your storage ring and I'll spare your life. Lu Ming said. He was just a first-tier divine master, and he wasn't that strong, so he didn't take him seriously. Ah. Hand over your storage ring. The old man's expression changed drastically. He was about to cry. You won't hand it over? Then die. Myriad God shouted. I'll hand it over. In the end, the old man reluctantly handed over his storage ring to Myriad God. Scram. Myriad God waved his hand. The old man felt as if he had been pardoned. He turned around and ran, wailing in his heart. He was so regretful that he wanted to bang his head against the wall. Lu Ming, here you go. Myriad God tossed the old man's storage ring to Lu Ming. I only want the damaged divine weapon. The rest is yours. Lu Ming scanned the ring with his spiritual sense and found 2 damaged divine weapons. However, they were both main-grade divine weapons. Lu Ming put them away and returned the storage ring to Myriad God. Myriad God put it away without hesitation. With their relationship, there was no need for such courtesy. Lu Ming put away the damaged origin-grade divine weapon as well. This broken divine weapon looked like a mirror, made of ancient bronze. However, it was already broken, and a hole had appeared in the middle of it. Lu Ming's group of 4 found it hard to remain calm. An origin-grade divine weapon had a hole punched through it. It looked like it had been punched through by a finger. This was truly astonishing. What sort of existence could have such fighting strength? Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and Myriad God all possessed origin-grade divine weapons, so they knew just how tough they were. They were completely indestructible. Let alone origin-grade divine weapons, even main-grade divine weapons were extremely powerful. Unless they were struck by an origin-grade divine weapon, they would be very difficult to destroy. Needless to say, someone had punched through them with a finger. I'll eat, I want to eat. Upon seeing the origin-grade divine weapon, Qiuqiu became extremely excited, its round body constantly twisting and turning. Qiuqiu, this is an origin-grade divine weapon. Its spirituality is perfect. Can you really eat it? Lu Ming asked. Origin-grade divine weapons were not to be underestimated. The materials used to forge them were even more extraordinary and contained an astonishing amount of energy. He was afraid that after Qiuqiu ate it, not only would it not be able to digest it, but it would also cause major problems. Direction: I have a feeling that I can even digest an origin-grade divine weapon in perfect condition. Why don't you give me an origin-grade divine weapon in perfect condition? Qiuqiu revealed a row of neat rows of teeth, looking very cunning. Go away, go away. Lu Ming unexpectedly kicked Qiuqiu away, then threw the damaged origin-grade divine weapon to Qiuqiu. As for the two main grade divine weapons he had obtained from the Divine Lord Realm Elder, Lu Ming did not give them to Qiuqiu. He was really afraid that Qiuqiu would not be able to digest them and die from overeating. Then, they continued forward and continued their search. This underground space was truly extraordinary. They concluded that this was the place where the Life Soul Heavenly Court used to bury the damaged divine weapons of the Life Soul Heavenly Court experts. Therefore, a large formation had been set up here, which contained rich divine weapons and metal qi. It was used to nurture the divine weapons. Therefore, even after so many years, the damaged divine weapons here were still as good as new, with their spirituality intact. Next, Lu Ming and the others gained quite a lot. They found another 5 main grade divine weapons and 1 origin grade divine weapon. In that case, Lu Ming would have 7 master level incomplete divine weapons and 1 source level incomplete divine weapon. Lu Ming put away all the main grade divine weapons they found. He did not give them to Qiuqiu. One could not become fat in one bite. It was better to take it slowly. After that, they did not gain much, because the other big boxes had been found by others before them. I really don't know how many damaged divine weapons there are, especially the origin-grade divine weapons, Lu Ming thought, feeling a little excited, but then he shook his head. It was just a thought. With their strength, they could not eat all the damaged divine weapons. Chapter 4475. After some time, Lu Ming and the others returned to the entrance. The others had also returned. However, Lu Ming discovered that some people were still missing. 6 people were missing. One of them was a first-level divine lord. Everyone looked at each other, knowing what was going on. Those missing people must have been killed by others while fighting over the divine weapon fragment. However, no one said anything. We've finished exploring this place. Let's go. Chu Yi said. Everyone nodded and left together, continuing onward. Soon, 10 some days had passed. The fog descended once more, shrouding the ancient city in a thick fog. This time, everyone was a lot bolder. This was because they had already left the celestial race. There were no longer any celestial race cultivators in this region. In the fog, the group once more distanced themselves from each other. After the divine weapon fragment, everyone's minds became active once more. If they could find such a treasure ground by themselves and not share it with others, wouldn't that be great? Only Lu Ming's group of 4 and Dark Knight Rose's group did not separate. Instead, they moved together. Sure enough, before long, something happened. Half a day after the fog had risen, several miserable screams resounded through the region. Everyone was shocked and rushed over to take a look. In the end, they saw a corpse lying on the ground, no longer breathing. A one-hit kill. Just like before, it was a one-hit kill. One of them was a first-level divine lord. Damn it. What's going on? Isn't there no celestial race cultivators in this region? How could someone be killed? Someone roared, on the verge of a mental breakdown. Was it done by one of our own? Someone asked. Everyone's hearts immediately rose to their throats. Their figures flickered as they maintained their distance from the others. Moreover, everyone was looking at the remaining Divine Lord experts, especially the 3 second-level Divine Lords. It really was possible that one of them had done it. There was an extremely high possibility that they had secretly killed others and seized their natal soul origin stone fragments. And the most likely possibility was that the 3 second-level Divine Lords had done it. Only they were capable of killing a first-layer Divine Lord in a single strike when their opponent was caught off guard. It was very difficult for a first-level Divine Master to do so. Everyone, don't fall into their trap. Perhaps this is the celestial race's plan. They want us to be suspicious of each other and panic so that they can take advantage of us. Chu-Yi shouted. Heavenly human tribe? Where was the heavenly human tribe? We didn't encounter any heavenly humans along the way. Someone said. But the residual energy in their wounds is clearly the energy of the heavens. How do you explain that? Chu-Yi said. Everyone fell silent. That's right, the remnant energy in these people's wounds was indeed the energy of the heavens. This point was undeniable. As for the heavenly energy, only the people of the heavenly human clan were capable of controlling it. The people of the other clans were unable to control it. Could it be that the heavenly human race really did it? He has mastered a terrifying concealment technique and is hiding in the dark to watch us? Someone said. His voice was trembling and filled with fear. Hearing this, the others also felt a chill run down their spines. It was as if there was a pair of eyes staring at them in the dark, causing them to feel a chill down their spines. Could it really be so? Was there a terrifying heavenly human tribe elite watching them from the dark? Or could it be that the murderer was one of them? For a moment it was difficult for everyone to tell who was real and who was fake. They only felt that there was danger everywhere around them. I think we'd better wait here and wait for the fog to recede. It won't be too late to take action then. A young man said. He and a few of his subordinates sat cross-legged on the spot and did not intend to leave. Now, it was safer to stay where they were and keep a distance from the others. At the same time, they also looked around. In this way, whether it was the heavenly human tribe or their own people, they could be on guard. I also think that's the best way. Let's wait for the fog to recede before we leave. The others also did the same. They sat where they were and kept a distance from the others. However, the distance was not that far. Once there was a movement, the others could immediately support them. Lu Ming, Anya rose, and the others looked at each other and also sat where they were. The scene suddenly became extremely quiet. In my opinion, the murderer is among us. At that moment, Anya Rose spoke. However, she did not speak to everyone. Instead, she spoke to Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Di Jiani, and the others. Her voice was only heard by the two groups of people. Oh. How do you know? Wan Shen's eyes moved and he also sent a voice transmission. Lu Ming has checked before. Lu Ming, you should have found something, right? Anya Rose said. Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Di Jiani, Ling Heng, Yin Jiuling, Xiao Wuji, and the other three young men could not help but look at Lu Ming. That's right. I also think that the murderer is not from the heavenly human tribe. He is among this group of people. Because, although there is residual heaven's power in their wounds, there is also a trace of death chi in the residual heaven's power. Although it is faint, it can be discovered if one observes carefully. Lu Ming said, and he continued to send a voice transmission. Since he suspected that the murderer was among this group of people, he naturally could not let others hear it. Death chi? What does this mean? Wan Shen asked. However, there were a few people whose eyes lit up as though they had thought of something. For example, Xian Yanqing and Di Jiani. Death chi, it means that the owner of heaven's power is dead. However, a dead person would not kill. This time, it was Anya Rose who was alive. Then, Wan Shen and the others who did not understand initially had their eyes lit up. I know. Someone made use of the dead heavenly human tribe members to kill and steal the vitality stone fragments. Wan Shen said. That's right. Although I don't know what means they used, this is probably the reason. Otherwise, even if they have some hidden means, they wouldn't be able to appear and disappear so stealthily that we did not notice at all. It could only be done by one of our own. The other party's guard was lower and hence, they could kill in one blow. The most likely culprits would be the 3 second heaven divine masters. Lu Ming said. What should we do next? Wan Shen asked. Get rid of this person. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to move about. We have many vitality stone fragments in our hands and will definitely be targeted by this person. Even if we leave now, this person will follow us and secretly ambush us. This time, it was Anya Rose who spoke. Get rid of this person. The other party might be a second heaven divine master. To put it bluntly, even if all of us join forces, we might not be able to kill a second heaven divine master expert. Lu Ming said. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible. However, if we plan carefully and work together with Xian Yanqing and I, it might not be impossible. Anya Rose said. Chapter 4476. You teamed up with Little Qin. Lu Ming was puzzled, and so were the others. Of course, Xian Yanqing was the only exception. She and I have a joint attack technique. Once we use it, its power is astonishing. With our current strength, we can even kill a second-tier divine lord. Dark Knight Rose explained. Everyone's hearts trembled. Dark Knight Rose and Xian Yanqing had a joint attack technique that could unleash such astonishing power. In truth, joint attack techniques that could increase one's power were very difficult to cultivate and were very rare. Only after many years of cooperation and telepathy could one unleash the full potential of each person's talent. Only then could it be considered a truly powerful joint attack technique. That kind of cooperation through a formation could not be called a true joint attack technique. It was just a kind of formation. Lu Ming had seen Xian Yanqing and Xian Yanjuan use a joint attack technique. Could Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose use it as well? It was very likely. After all, their relationship in his previous life was similar to his relationship with Qiuqiu. It was just that they had spent much more time together. It was normal for them to be able to use a joint attack technique. Xian Yanqing nodded silently, clearly agreeing with Dark Knight Rose's words. But we don't even know who our opponent is. Even if we have a joint attack technique, we can't use it. How can we lure the murderer out? Myriad God asked. The murderer wants the natal spirit stone fragments. As long as we give the murderer an opportunity to attack, won't he come out? Dark Knight Rose said. You want someone to be the bait, but in the current situation, if you deliberately use them as bait, the murderer will probably be suspicious and won't fall for it easily. Lu Ming said. Everyone was in danger and doubted the people around them. If they did something strange, such as deliberately leaving to be the bait, the murderer would most likely be suspicious. Because in the current situation, it was not normal for 1 or 2 people to deliberately leave. Anyone with a brain would suspect that there was something fishy going on. There are 2 conditions to lure out the culprit. First, the natal spirit stone fragments. Only with enough natal spirit stone fragments will it be attractive enough. Secondly, there needs to be a suitable reason. Therefore, we can only rely on Lu Ming and me. Dark Knight Rose smiled. The 2 of us have enough life spirit primordial stone fragments, but how can we leave without arousing suspicion? Lu Ming said. A handsome man and a beautiful woman, dry wood and blazing fire. Is there a better reason than this to sneak away? Dark Knight Rose said, staring at Lu Ming with her big watery eyes. Lu Ming was speechless. The others were also speechless, especially Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing. They looked at Dark Knight Rose with hostility. I think we should use other methods. Lu Ming said. Is there a better way? Tell me. Dark Knight Rose said. Lu Ming was silent. To be honest, there was no better reason than this. Using other methods would seem too deliberate and the culprit might not be fooled. But this method, are you afraid that your woman will be jealous? Haha, we're not doing anything. We're just leaving for a while to lure the culprit out. As long as the culprit shows up, we'll immediately send a signal and the others will arrive to suppress the culprit. It's that simple. Why are you hesitating? Are you a man or not? Dark Knight Rose said. Lu Ming was speechless. Lu Ming, I think this plan is feasible. Xian Yinqing suddenly said. Young master, I think so too. Autumn Moon also quickly expressed her opinion, as if she was afraid of falling behind. Lu Ming, your woman has already expressed her opinion. What are you still hesitating for? Are you a man or not? Dark Knight Rose said. He had been repeatedly questioned if he was a man. Lu Ming really wanted to yell, do you want to test it? Of course, it was just a thought. What else could Lu Ming say? In the end, he naturally agreed. Then, everyone discussed the steps and details of the plan. After ensuring that it was foolproof, they began to act. After waiting for a few hours, Lu Ming and the Dark Knight Rose used the excuse of checking out the surrounding situation to leave and explore the surroundings. After the two of them searched around, they went in a direction and disappeared into the fog. Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose came to a dilapidated building dozens of miles away. Let's hope that the culprit will come. Lu Ming said, of course, using voice transmission. Before he finished speaking, a fragrance wafted over. Dark Knight Rose approached and was almost leaning against him. You. What are you doing? Lu Ming asked subconsciously. A handsome man and a beautiful woman. If you want to act, you naturally have to act more realistically. Otherwise, how will the other party believe you? Dark Knight Rose said in Lu Ming's ear. Her warm breath blew into Lu Ming's ear. As soon as she finished speaking, Dark Knight Rose fell into Lu Ming's arms. Lu Ming suddenly felt a little uneasy. Dark Knight Rose's seduction was not just for show. It was top-notch in the universe. You. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. It's enough. Lu Ming said. His voice was a little hoarse. It seems that I misunderstood you before. Now it proves that you are really a man, Dark Knight Rose said. Lu Ming was speechless. Coming. Suddenly, Dark Knight Rose said two words in Lu Ming's ear. Her body flashed and she quickly retreated. At the same time, she waved her hand and the petals of the sky-devouring rose flew out. Lu Ming's reaction was also very fast. He immediately withdrew from his uneasy state and flicked his fingers. Rays of spear light burst out and flew into the surrounding fog. Dang dang dang, a series of explosions sounded. Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose's attacks were directly defeated. Then, several terrifying rays of sword light slashed toward the two of them. It was too fast, and its power was astonishing. Second-level Divine Master. As soon as they exchanged blows, the two of them could tell that the person attacking them was definitely a second-level Divine Master expert. The two of them had attacked hastily, so it was normal that they could not block it. However, the two of them had been in a state of alert, ready to attack at any time, so their reaction was also very fast. With a thought, their killing weapons appeared. Lu Ming held the obsidian staff and poured forbidden energy into it. The obsidian staff quickly enlarged and swept out, colliding with a ray of sword light. With a clang, the obsidian staff vibrated, and Lu Ming's figure retreated. On the other side, Dark Knight Rose activated her saber and also retreated after exchanging a blow with the other party. However, the two of them had caused a huge commotion and alarmed the others. Something's happening. Let's go take a look. Those experts rushed toward Lu Ming's side. They covered the distance of several dozen miles in an instant. As for the expert in the dark, when he saw that he could not kill Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose in a few moves, he wanted to retreat. However, Lu Ming's side was already prepared. Bam! Lu Ming took a step forward and brilliant rays of light erupted from the ground. Dozens of ancient mystic skills were unleashed. Great sealing art, great binding art. Chapter 4477. Dozens of secret techniques, all of which were secret techniques for trapping the enemy, shot toward the being in the fog. At the same time, Anya Rose took action. In the air, there was a huge sky-devouring rose. In the middle of the flower, there was a black hole that spun continuously and exploded with terrifying devouring power. The devouring power was continuously devouring the being in the fog. The purpose of double bind was to slow down the speed of the other party. However, the other party was really strong. With a roar, Sword Chi burst out and broke through Lu Ming's ancient secret skill. He broke through the devouring power of the sky-devouring rose and wanted to leave. However, he was still held back for a while. At that moment, there were suddenly attacks coming from the direction where the other party was escaping. A pitch-black iron rod, a rusty iron sword, and a black lotus. It was Xian Yanqing, Wan Shen, Di Jiani, and the rest who had taken action. They were prepared. When they heard that Lu Ming, Anya Rose, and the other party were exchanging blows, they did not hesitate and rushed towards Lu Ming and the rest. They were faster than the rest. However, they did not appear immediately. Instead, they changed their position in the fog and appeared in the direction where the other party might have retreated. At the crucial moment, they launched an attack. Xian Yanqing, Wan Shen, Autumn Moon, Di Jiani, Ling Heng, Yin Jioling, Xiao Wuji, and the other 3 supreme talents. A total of 10 young experts joined forces, and the power was shocking. They successfully blocked the other party's sword light and stopped him from retreating. Chu Yi, it's you. At that moment, Lu Ming and Anya Rose were close to the other party and they saw the other party's face. The person was Chu Yi, one of the 3 experts in the 2nd level of the Divine Master Realm. Little brat, it was you guys who set this up. I'm going to kill you. Chu Yi bellowed. He controlled his voice well and only Lu Ming and the rest could hear him. However, the fog was tumbling and more people had arrived. They were the other experts. These people saw Chu Yi and Lu Ming and the rest. Everyone, Chu Yi is the one who secretly killed and stole the natal spirit stones. Let's work together and kill him. Lu Ming shouted. It's him. As expected, the murderer is among us. Damn it, kill him. The others were enraged when they heard this. Everyone, don't listen to this little bastard's nonsense. He's slandering us. Actually, the culprits are in cahoots with them, Chu Yi shouted, wanting to bite back. Our group is ridiculous. The strongest cultivator in our group is of the 9th Great Supreme God layer. How could he kill a cultivator of the 1st Divine Master layer in one strike? Lu Ming retorted with a sneer. That's hard to say. Everyone knows that you're all peerless geniuses with powerful combat strength. Furthermore, you might be hiding some special techniques. Furthermore, it's precisely because your cultivation is low that others won't guard against you. It's not impossible for them to be killed by you in a single strike. Chu Yi continued to quibble. It had to be said that this old man's ability to quibble was quite impressive. However, Lu Ming was also an expert in this aspect. He had never been afraid of anyone in this aspect. It's useless to say so much. Why don't you open up your storage rings and sea of consciousness and let everyone check? Won't we know who has the fragments of the natal soul primordial stones of those killed? Oh, and the storage rings of those killed seem to have been taken away as well. We can check them all together. Lu Ming said. This is a good suggestion. We'll know who the murderer is once we check. Another expert of the 2nd Divine Master layer said. I object. Storage rings and sea of consciousness are a cultivator's greatest secrets. How can we let others check them? Chu Yi said coldly. What? Feeling guilty? Lu Ming countered. The others also looked at Chu Yi with unfriendly eyes. What guilty? I object to this suggestion. Since none of you believe me, I'll just leave. Chu Yi said coldly and turned to leave. You still want to leave? You still want to hide in the dark and wait for an opportunity to kill us and steal the fragments of the natal soul primordial stones? Everyone, don't let him leave, or else we'll all be in danger. Lu Ming bellowed. As expected, the others paled, and their bodies flickered as they surrounded Chu Yi. Lu Ming is right. If we don't make things clear today, no one can leave. Today, we must get to the bottom of this. The crowd shouted. The person who had attacked them in the dark was too dangerous. If it really was Chu Yi, they would be in constant danger if they let him go. Thus, even if there was something suspicious about Chu Yi, they could not let him leave. Moreover, Chu Yi was currently the most suspicious. Compared to Lu Ming's group, the crowd was more convinced that Chu Yi was the murderer. After all, he was a genuine second-level divine master. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. At this moment, Chu Yi suddenly laughed loudly. His laughter was somewhat sinister. I originally wanted to deal with all of you one by one, but since all of you insist on seeking death, I'll deal with all of you together. Chu Yi's cold voice echoed through the air. Chu Yi, it really was you. Damn it. Chu Yi, you've got some nerve. If you commit suicide now, we'll leave your corpse intact. The crowd roared, unable to restrain their anger. It turned out that the murderer really was Chu Yi. The crowd stared at Chu Yi with murderous intent. Commit suicide? Ha ha ha, how laughable. Did you think that you could deal with me with just the few of you? Let me tell you, from start to finish, I have never used my full strength. Now, let me show you my true fighting strength. Chu Yi laughed, his aura growing stronger and stronger. Although he had not reached the third level of the Divine Master realm, he was still a peak second-level Divine Master. At the same time, a terrifying sword light shot out of Chu Yi's body. All of you will die. Kill. Chu Yi roared as his sword light trembled. Immediately, dense sword chi swept out in all directions, enveloping everyone with frightening power. Careful. All of you, retreat. The remaining Divine Master Realm experts shouted and stepped forward. They used their secret techniques to protect the people below the Divine Master Realm. At the same time, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others also launched their own attacks, clashing with the sword chi. Boom! Boom! There was a violent explosion. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya rose, and the rest trembled violently and could not help but retreat. Those with weaker fighting strength, such as Chiu Moon and Yin Jioling, vomited several mouthfuls of blood. In another direction, of the 4 Divine Masters, 2 were first-level Divine Masters, and they screamed as they retreated. Several terrifying wounds had appeared on their bodies, blood gushing out from them. The 2 second-level Divine Masters fared better, but they were also forced back. Chu Yi, your fighting strength, how is this possible? A second-level Divine Master roared. End of this chapter. Chapter 4478. Chu Yi's fighting strength had exceeded everyone's expectations. Although Chu Yi's fighting strength had been very strong, it had only been a little stronger than the other 2 second-level God Lords. But in the clash just now, Chu Yi's fighting strength was not just a little stronger than the other 2 second-level God Lords, it was a whole level higher. Even when so many people worked together, he had still managed to suppress them. Why do you think I was able to obtain the acknowledgement of the Life Soul Origin Stone fragment? This is because when I was young, I was also a peerless genius. If I hadn't encountered a great disaster that slowed down my cultivation, my current cultivation would have been far more than second-tier Divine Lord. I would have long since become a high-level Divine Lord. You people think that you can kill me? Today, I will eliminate all of you. Chu Yi roared, his face turning even more savage, and the sword light on his body grew even stronger. Clang! With the clanging of swords, Chu Yi's body flickered as he swung his sword, unleashing one sword light after another. All of you, fall back. A second-level God Lord shouted, ordering those below the God Lord level to fall back. He erupted with all his strength, taking out a golden pagoda and thrusting it forward. The other 3 God Lord experts also went all out, using their ultimate moves. Lu Ming and the rest also constantly activated their powerful killing weapons and charged toward Chu Yi. As they attacked, Lu Ming shielded Xiao Yu behind him. Amongst the four of them, Xiao Yu was the weakest, so Lu Ming could not let Xiao Yu take the risk. In this clash, Lu Ming and the others were still no match. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Wan Shen, Dark Knight Rose, and the others all retreated, their bodies covered in sword wounds from which blood seeped out. They had been injured by sword qi. They still had their source-level divine weapons to block, so their situation was somewhat better, but the god lords were in dire straits. This was especially true for the two first-level god lords. One of them was heavily injured, his body in tatters. As for the other, he had his forehead pierced by sword light and died on the spot. "Kill, kill, all of you must die, especially you," Chu Yi shouted, his cold gaze fixed on Lu Ming and the others, especially the source-grade divine weapons in Lu Ming's hands. Greed flashed in his eyes as he said, "After I kill you, your source-grade divine weapons will all be mine, ha ha ha." Chu Yi laughed, and the sword light moved. "Today, the one who will die will be you." At this moment, a cold voice sounded. It was Dark Knight Rose. Dark Knight Rose had appeared behind Chu Yi at some point. "Kill." As for Xian Yanqing, he stood in front of Chu Yi and shouted. His hands formed a seal, and his body emitted a shocking demonic aura. At the same time, Dark Knight Rose was also wrapped in a mysterious energy, which resonated with Xian Yanqing's devil qi. "Devil Devour." Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose shouted at the same time and pushed their hands forward. Whoosh! Whoosh! The heavens and earth roared, and energy surged. Then, a black lotus appeared under Chu Yi's feet. The huge black lotus emitted a dense demonic light, and a huge flower appeared above Chu Yi's head. It was the sky-devouring rose. The two flowers, one above and one below, connected with each other in multicolored light, producing a terrifying energy that instantly enveloped Chu Yi. This energy was like a field that was terrifying and could destroy everything. Chu Yi's body shook violently, and the divine power protecting his body shook violently. It was like ice meeting fire, and it melted quickly. Not only that, but Chu Yi's body, skin, and flesh were also melting. In an instant, Chu Yi's appearance became unbearable to look at. "Ah!" Chu Yi shouted, and his divine power surged in all directions. He wanted to break through the field around him, and break through Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose's joint attack. However, the divine power he unleashed was also melted by this field. Break! 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 Chu Yi roared, and a frenzied sword intent surged out of his body, transforming into sharp sword light that slashed at the sky-devouring rose. Brum! The sword light clashed with the field, creating terrifying sounds of friction and explosions. Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose began to tremble. "What are you standing around for? Hurry up and kill him. We can't hold on much longer." Dark Knight Rose roared. Chu Yi's divine power was far above her expectations. Given her and Xian Yanqing's current cultivation, they could kill an ordinary second-level divine lord if they used a joint attack. If the other two second-layer divine masters got caught in their joint attack, they would definitely die. They would be turned into ashes by the terrifying field energy. However, Chu Yi was much stronger than an ordinary second-level divine lord. The two of them could only trap him for a moment, but they couldn't kill him. Attack! Lu Ming roared, activating the mysterious ice staff with all his strength to attack Chu Yi. Myriad God, Emperor Jiani, and the others also attacked Chu Yi with all their strength. The two second-level God Lord experts seemed to have woken up from a dream and used their strongest moves to attack Chu Yi. At this moment, Chu Yi was trapped and had to use all his strength to resist the terrifying field energy. There was no way he could block their attacks, but if they hit him, they would definitely be able to kill him. "You want to kill me? Dream on. Doppelganger, come out." Chu Yi roared, and two figures suddenly charged out of his body. One of the figures was a skeleton that was as white as jade and carried 5 bone swords on its back. White Bone waved its hand, and the 5 bone swords flew out, rapidly growing in size as they charged at Lu Ming's group. The other figure had a head of golden hair. It was a large man from the celestial race. He held a golden sword in his hand and sent out several sword lights at the 2 second-level God Lord experts. Boom! Clang! 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 The attacks of Lu Ming's group were blocked by the 2 figures. These bone swords, the one who attacked us earlier was him. The eyes of Lu Ming, Myriad God, and the others flashed. Before encountering Anya Rose's group, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, and Myriad God had been ambushed. The attacker had used a white bone claw and a bone sword to attack them. Now, it seemed like it was Chu Yi's doing. This skeleton's attack was exactly the same as the one that had ambushed them. In addition, Emperor Jiani and the others had gloomy expressions because they had also been ambushed by this skeleton. And that celestial race, everyone's gaze turned toward the large man from the celestial race. The large man from the celestial race had his eyes closed, and there was no sign of life on his body. He was clearly a corpse. These were all Chu Yi's doppelganger puppets. The wounds of the people who had been ambushed had traces of heaven's power. It was obvious that Chu Yi had controlled the doppelganger puppets to attack. That was why there were traces of heaven's power in their wounds. He had used this method to bluff his way out and push all the blame to the celestial race. However, this celestial race member was dead, so there was a trace of death chi in his heaven's power. Lu Ming and Anya Rose had detected it. This was something that Chu Yi had not expected. Chapter 4479. It was precisely because Lu Ming and Dark Knight Rose had realized that the celestial race wasn't responsible that they had set up this trap and drawn out Chu Yi. Upon seeing the corpse of the celestial race expert, there was no need for explanation. Everyone understood. Kill. Kill. Lu Ming's group launched a second attack. However, this attack was blocked by Chu Yi's 2 doppelganger puppets. Although the 2 doppelganger puppets were injured, Lu Ming and the rest did not manage to break through their defenses for the time being. Chu Yi struggled with all his strength, causing Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose to tremble even more. If this continued, they really wouldn't be able to hold on. Once I come out, it'll be the time of your deaths. Chu Yi roared, his face savage. Dark Knight Rose, Little Qing, use your origin energy to launch your strongest attack. Lu Ming messaged Dark Knight Rose and Xian Yanqing. Okay. The 2 replied, preparing to use their trump cards. Seniors, if we don't go all out now, when will we? Lu Ming roared at the 2 second-level God Lords. These 2 second-level God Lords were very important, as they were the main offensive force. Without them holding down Chu Yi, they were even less of a match. The 2 of them hesitated for a moment before nodding, decisive looks on their faces. Boom! Boom! The 2 second-level God Lords exploded with powerful energy. This was divine power burning. The 2 of them were truly putting their lives on the line. At the same time, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and Dark Knight Rose began to mobilize their origin energy. Dark Knight Rose had been at the same level as Xian Yanqing, a second-level God Lord. Thus, the origin energy she controlled was not any weaker than Xian Yanqing's, so she could also use an attack. Devil Devour. Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose roared as they used their origin energy in this joint attack. With the addition of the origin energy, the power of the joint attack technique increased a little. That terrifying field energy was even stronger. Chu Yi's body trembled, and the sword energy he had unleashed trembled and almost collapsed. Kill. Kill. Lu Ming and the others launched another attack. This time, the 2 second-layer Divine Master experts burned their divine power and went all out to launch their strongest attacks. The power was astonishing, and Chu-yi had no choice but to divert even more of his energy to control the celestial race doppelganger puppet to resist the 2 second-layer divine master experts. In that case, the strength of the other skeleton would be slightly weaker. Boom! The attacks of the 2 second-level god lords clashed with the avatar of the celestial race. After a few loud booms, the heavenly human tribe's doppelganger puppet was sent flying. However, the attacks of the 2 second-level divine lords were also blocked. Following that, Lu Ming, Wan Shen, and the others' attacks also collided with the puppet. It was like metal clashing against metal, and energy rippled out in all directions. The attacks of Lu Ming and the others also froze. Lu Ming's mysterious ice rod, Wan Shen's black iron rod and Emperor Jin's rusty battle sword were all blocked by Skeleton's bone sword. Haha, you still want to kill me. Seeing the attacks of Lu Ming and the others being blocked, Chu-yi laughed arrogantly. The desperate attacks of Lu Ming and the others had been blocked by Skeleton. Let's see what else they can use to fight him. At this moment, Origin. Lu Ming inwardly roared. The Origin seed trembled, and the Origin energy within it flowed along his arm and into the mysterious ice rod. The mysterious ice rod was an Origin-level divine weapon, and the addition of the Origin energy was like adding oil to a fire, causing it to explode. Boom! The mysterious ice rod violently shuddered, and a powerful energy erupted from it and struck the bone sword. Kacha! The bone sword shattered, and the mysterious ice rod smashed into Skeleton's body. With a bang, Skeleton's body exploded. The mysterious ice rod did not stop and continued to bombard Chu-yi. Chu-yi's eyes widened in disbelief. He roared, "Damn it! How is this possible? This is the power of Origin." He was really shocked, and he also knew that he had underestimated Lu Ming's strength. Lu Ming had been hiding his trump card before. Damn it! At the same time, he wanted to use his strength to resist, but how could Xian Yanqing and Dark Knight Rose let him do as he wished? They tried their best to operate the joint attack technique to suppress Chu-yi. Chu-yi was just about to divert some of his strength to resist Lu Ming's attack, but that terrifying field energy took advantage of it. Chu-yi's body quickly melted, and he was so scared that he hurriedly circulated his strength to resist. However, the mysterious ice rod did not stop, and directly smashed down. Boom! The mysterious ice rod solidly smashed onto Chu-yi's body. Chu-yi let out a blood-curdling scream as his body flew out like a meteor and smashed into the ground, creating a large crater. But he did not stop, his body continued to slide backwards, creating a deep ditch on the ground. He kept sliding backward for tens of thousands of meters before stopping. All the bones and muscles in his body had been completely shattered. They were in tatters, and it was unbearable to look at. His head had almost exploded, and cracks had appeared on the universe bridge in his sea of consciousness. With such serious injuries, Chu-yi could no longer fight. This Chu-yi was really strong. When he was young, he was definitely a top genius who could crush people of the same level. Even the heavenly human tribe people of the same level could not compare to him. The second-level divine master heavenly human tribe that Lu Ming had met before definitely did not have such strength. Just like he had said, if it were not for the problem, his cultivation would be much higher than this. Speaking of which, the life spirit essence stone fragment was not something that only outstanding talents would recognize. But in the end, Chu-yi was still defeated by Lu Ming and the others. Chu-yi lay in the large pit, spitting out blood, and his eyes were full of unwillingness and despair. Swoosh! 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 Everyone's figures flashed, and they surrounded Chu-yi. Chu-yi, you are doomed to death for your sins. Today, we will kill you. A second-level divine master elder said coldly, and his killing intent was thick. If you kill me, how will you divide the life spirit origin stone fragments in my body? The life spirit origin stone fragments are in the storage ring on my finger. Chu-yi roared. These words caused the second-level divine master experts' expressions to change, and their eyes flickered. Yes, after killing Chu Yi, how would they divide the life spirit origin stone fragments in his body? You still want to sow discord at this time? Everyone, we can discuss the life spirit origin stone fragments after we kill Chu Yi. But now, we can't fall into his trap. Lu Ming said. The two second-level Divine Master experts were shocked and came back to their senses. They thought to themselves that they had almost fallen into Chu Yi's trap. If they had fought out of greed, it would only have benefited Chu Yi. If Chu Yi escaped, the consequences would be unimaginable. This little bastard, Chu Yi roared in his heart, wishing that he could cut Lu Ming into pieces. Die. A second-level Divine Master Elder stepped forward, about to attack. Everyone, wait a moment. I have a huge secret, Chu Yi roared. Chapter 4480. Chu Yi roared, causing the second-level Divine Master to stop in his tracks. Speak, what secret? The second-level Divine Master coldly demanded. It's the secret of the Heavenly Court. As long as you don't kill me, I'll tell you, Chu Yi said. You still want to use this method to survive? Ridiculous. Besides, who knows if the secret you're talking about is true? Lu Ming sneered and said to the others, everyone, I still think it's better to kill this person. Don't fall into his trap. Once you let him go, there will be endless trouble in the future. Damn it, damn little bastard. Chu Yi roared in his heart. His little scheme had been seen through by Lu Ming time and time again. He really hated Lu Ming to the bone. But there was nothing he could do. Hearing Lu Ming's words, the others revealed killing intent. He could only roar again, I'm telling the truth, absolutely true. It's the secret of the Heavenly Court. You know about the 3 supreme treasures of the Heavenly Court, right? I know where one of them is hidden. What? Upon hearing this, not only the others, but even Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Anya Rose, and the others were shocked. The life spirit was the ultimate treasure of the Celestial Court. This phrase was too tempting. Chu Yi actually knew where one of the supreme treasures of the Heavenly Court was hidden. Nonsense. Who knows if you're telling the truth or not? This time, it was the second-level Divine Master who spoke. I can swear on my life origin that it's absolutely true. Also, I have a map of the Heavenly Court marked with the specific location of the treasure. It's hidden in my sea of consciousness. As long as you promise to spare my life, I can give it to you. Otherwise, I'll just destroy my sea of consciousness. That map is fragile and can be easily destroyed by me. Chu Yi said. Map? Chu Yi, it's often foggy here, making it difficult to tell directions. We can't even find the right direction. You have a map? This lie is too low level. Lu Ming sneered. The others' faces also darkened. Indeed, this lie was too low level. The life spirit Heavenly Court was too big, and fog would appear every once in a while. It was like a maze. It was a joke that Chu Yi would have a map. You all have just entered, so it's naturally difficult for you to determine the direction. However, I have already been here for 300,000 years. How could I not know? I am extremely familiar with this place. Even in the fog, I will be able to find the right path. Chu Yi said. What? You've been here for 300,000 years? This time, Lu Ming and the others were really shocked. Originally, they thought that Chu Yi came in with them. They really did not expect that Chu Yi had already come in. Yes, when I was young, I had a great battle and damaged my foundation, causing my cultivation to progress extremely slowly. I was unwilling to give up, so I spent my whole life studying the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. The purpose was to find treasures to achieve a transformation and restore my potential and talent. Finally, 300,000 years ago, I found a clue and entered the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. Unfortunately, the ancient land of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court cannot be entered by a fragment of the Life Spirit Primordial Stone. Only by gathering many fragments of the life spirit meteorite can one enter, especially the place that contains the treasures of the life spirit heavenly court. Many fragments of the life spirit primordial stone are needed. Although I came in early, it was useless. I could only waste time. It wasn't until 3,000 years ago that the heavenly human tribe entered that I became cautious. I hid in the dark and waited for an opportunity to kill a few of them. After that, I waited until now. When you people entered, I knew that my opportunity had come. At this point, Chu Yi stopped and did not continue, but everyone knew what he was going to say next. It was nothing more than pretending to be a newcomer like them. He would blend in with the crowd, secretly attack, seize the fragments of the life spirit primordial stone, and then go alone to obtain the treasures of the life spirit heavenly court. Chu Yi's words were indeed self-justifying. But everyone was still skeptical. If you don't believe me, I can swear with my life origin. Immediately, Chu Yi swore with the origin of life that what he had just said was true. Seeing Chu Yi swear with his life origin, everyone had to believe him. Unless Chu Yi did not want to live anymore. But even if he did not want to live, there was no need to use such a method. Now, as long as you swear with your life origin that after I tell you the details of the location, you will spare my life, and I will tell you. I will also give you the map and the fragments of the life spirit primordial stone that I have. Chu Yi said. Okay, I promise you. Everyone, what do you think? A second layer divine master old man answered, looking at Lu Ming and the others. Obviously, he was tempted. In fact, he was not the only one. Lu Ming and the others were also tempted. That was the supreme treasure of the heavenly court. In the universe, it was a top treasure, even more precious than the 18 divine weapons. Who would not be tempted? I also agree. Anya Rose said. Needless to say, she was also tempted. I agree. In the end, Lu Ming nodded. Chu Yi was overjoyed to see everyone agree. Then, Lu Ming and the others all swore with their life origin that they would spare Chu Yi's life as long as he handed over the life spirit primordial stone and the map. Good, good, good. Chu Yi was overjoyed, but a savage killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. He roared in his heart. As long as he survived this time, he would madly seek revenge after his injuries had healed. He had been here for 300,000 years and could not be more familiar with this place. He could come and go freely in the fog. When the time came, he would take advantage of his familiarity with the terrain to hunt down all these people. Especially Lu Ming, Anya Rose, and the others. He would madly seek revenge and make them regret their actions. Now, hand over the map and the life spirit primordial stone fragment. A second-level God Lord Elder barked. Okay, I'll give it to you. Chu Yi said as his forehead shone, and a jade token flew out. The jade token was about the size of a palm, and one could see that the jade token was covered in fine carvings. The old man at the second-level divine master realm hurriedly grabbed the jade tablet. Everyone's eyes flashed, but they said nothing. The second-level God Lord Elder then poured his divine power into the jade token. The jade token shone, and a map appeared in the air. The map was very detailed, and there was a red dot on it that represented their current location. In addition, there was a yellow dot some distance away. That yellow dot is where the supreme treasure of the heavenly court is hidden. Chu Yi explained. Everyone's eyes burned with fervent light. It seemed like everything Chu Yi had said was true. As long as they followed the map, they would not get lost even in the fog. It wouldn't be long before they arrived at the location of the treasure. End of this chapter. Chapter 4481. Also, the Life Soul Origin Stone is in the storage ring on my finger. I'm injured and can't touch it, so you can take it. Chu Yi said. Immediately, many people's eyes lit up. Bang! Bang! Several people stepped forward, wanting to take Chu Yi's storage ring, but they were all obstructed by each other's energies. Their energies erupted and clashed in the air, none of them willing to back down. The two second-tier God Lord experts in particular were exuding an intense fighting spirit as their energies clashed. Everyone, there are so many of us here that no one can take the life-soul origin stone fragments for themselves. I suggest that we divide them equally. Once we reach the treasury of the supreme treasure of the heavenly court, we can take out the life-soul origin stone fragments together and open the treasury. What do you think? Anya Rose suggested. The eyes of the two second-tier God Lord experts flashed. If an ordinary God Emperor dared to speak to them like this, dared to suggest splitting the fragments equally, they would have long since slapped him to death. A God Emperor dared to dream of being on equal footing with a God Lord? However, Anya Rose, Lu Ming, and the others were truly too terrifying and could not be judged by common sense. When they had surrounded Chu Yi, Xian Yanqing and the Dark Knight Rose had used a joint attack. It was so powerful that even they were terrified. They were afraid that if they were trapped, only death awaited them. And Lu Ming's strength was also unimaginable. Earlier, when they were dealing with Chu Yi, Lu Ming had defeated him with a surprise move, breaking through Chu Yi's defenses and capturing him. They were all monstrous geniuses. Although they were divine masters, they had no choice but to suppress their pride in front of these monstrous geniuses. Okay, then we'll listen to Miss Rose. The second-tier God Lord Elder smiled. The other second-tier God Lord expert also had no objections. Since the strongest experts of each group had no objections, the others had no objections either, nor did they dare to. A hint of disappointment appeared in Chu Yi's eyes. He had been hoping that Lu Ming and the others would fight over the life-soul origin stone fragments, but he hadn't expected it to end so easily. Several people worked together to take the storage ring from Chu Yi's hand. After opening it, they found several life-soul origin stone fragments. A total of 5 pieces. The forces represented by the 2 second-stage divine masters each got a piece of land. Lu Ming got one, while Dark Knight Rose got the other. The 5th piece was given to the last first-stage divine master. Everyone, I've given you first place and the life spirit vitality stone fragment. Can I leave now? Chu Yi said. The divine Lord Realm existences all showed a hint of unwillingness. They really didn't want to let Chu Yi go, because if Chu Yi left, it would be very dangerous. However, for the sake of the heavenly court's most precious treasure, they had no choice but to swear on their life essence. They had no choice but to let it go now. Let you go? You're too naive. After we let you go, are we going to wait for you to take revenge on us? Lu Ming sneered. He clenched his fist and a long spear condensed in his hand. What? The Divine Lord Realm experts and Chu Yi were all stunned, looking at Lu Ming in shock. Could it be that Lu Ming wanted to break his oath and kill Chu Yi? Chu Yi reacted very quickly. He cried out, Lu Ming, what are you doing? Don't forget that you swore on your life essence that you can't kill me. If you kill me, you'll face a calamity and die. Do you want to die with me? Perish together with you? Huh, you're not worthy. Don't you know that reciprocity existences don't fear oaths on life essence? Lu Ming sneered. Cold killing intent erupted from his body, so dense that it seemed to be tangible. Those are reciprocity existences who control origin energy. You're just a god emperor, Chu Yi roared. However, his voice stopped abruptly. His eyes widened and a look of horror appeared in his eyes. Origin energy. The reason why reciprocity experts did not fear oaths on life essence was because of origin energy. However, Lu Ming had also mastered the power of origin. Earlier, Lu Ming had only managed to break through Chu Yi's defenses by erupting with origin energy. However, Chu Yi was in a hurry to save his life, so he did not think of this. Who would have thought that the other party would be able to use source energy to go against the life source oath when facing some god emperors? Subconsciously, they ignored it. But it was too late to think of it now. No, don't kill me. You can't break your oath, Chu Yi cried out in horror. He did not want to die. He had already found the life spirit heavenly court. As long as he killed Lu Ming and the others and obtained enough life spirit origin stone fragments, he might have a chance to recover his talent and potential and reach a higher realm. Therefore, he struggled frantically. Unfortunately, his injuries were very serious. Even if he had recovered a little, he could only barely move his body. Chu Yi, go well. Lu Ming said coldly as he stabbed out with his spear. Puff. The spear directly pierced through Chu Yi's forehead, killing him there. Chu Yi's eyes widened. He was unwilling to accept this. Good. The others shouted in their hearts. They did not dare to kill Chu Yi. Lu Ming had killed him. If they let Chu Yi go, they would not be able to sleep and eat in peace. As for whether Lu Ming could really resist the backlash of the oath on life essence, they were too lazy to care. It would be best if Lu Ming died from the backlash. Young master, is it really okay for you to kill him like this? Qiu Yu hurriedly asked, her small face full of nervousness and worry. Lu Ming, can your origin energy withstand it? Xian Yanqing also asked, also a little worried. She also used origin energy, but the amount was very small. She felt that she could not withstand the backlash of the oath on life essence. She was a little worried about whether Lu Ming could withstand it. Don't worry, the backlash of the oath on life essence will not happen now. It will happen later in the cultivation. I am confident that I can withstand it. Lu Ming said with a smile. The amount of origin energy he controlled was not small. Although it was definitely not comparable to the existence of the origin realm, it should be able to withstand the backlash of the oath on life essence. Moreover, he had a forbidden body and controlled forbidden energy. Fei Huang once told him that forbidden energy also had a strong effect in resisting the backlash of the oath on life essence. With the combination of the two, Lu Ming was confident and confident. Otherwise, he would not take the risk so easily. Everyone, let's go. Lu Ming said. Then, everyone set off. According to the map left by Chu Yi, they headed in the direction of the treasure of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. With the map, their speed was very fast. At the same time, they did not encounter any more attacks. However, according to the map, the treasure was not far from them. In fact, it was a long way away. They were in the south of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court, and the treasure was in the north. They had to cross almost half of the ancient city of the Life Spirit Heavenly Court. Along the way, everyone had their own thoughts. They were all thinking about a problem. How would they divide the treasure after obtaining it? Chapter 4482. There was only one treasure, so how could they split it? There were 7 or 8 groups of people here, and all of them wanted the treasure. Who should the treasure go to? Everyone's eyes flashed, each with their own thoughts. The 2 second-level divine lords even had killing intent in their eyes, but they quickly hid it. They really wanted to kill everyone else and take the treasure for themselves. However, when they thought about the strength of Lu Ming's group, they were extremely afraid. They didn't want to be killed by Lu Ming's group before they could kill Lu Ming's group. In truth, they weren't the only ones with such thoughts. Lu Ming, Dark Knight Rose, and the others also had such thoughts. They also wanted to kill everyone here. However, the other side had 2 second-level divine lords and 1 first-level divine lord. They wouldn't be so easy to deal with. As long as Xian Yanqing and the Dark Knight Rose's combined attack enveloped a second-layer divine master, only death would await them. However, there was still a second-level divine lord. Even if he recovered his origin energy and used all his strength, he still wouldn't be able to keep them here. If a few of them managed to escape with the Life Soul Origin Stone fragments, they wouldn't be able to gather enough Life Soul Origin Stone fragments. Even if they reached the treasury, it would be useless. Moreover, the other side was very wary of them. It wouldn't be easy to suddenly attack and kill one of them. In addition, they were only cooperating with Dark Knight Rose and weren't on the same side. Thus, they didn't attack. Everyone had their own misgivings and were wary of each other as they headed toward their destination. However, Lu Ming's group didn't know that their destination had long since been occupied by someone else, the celestial race. On the empty ground, there were many tall bronze statues. These bronze statues all looked like warriors. They were clad in armor and wielded swords. Each statue was tens of thousands of feet tall. There were 108 bronze statues on this plain. They were arranged in a strange pattern, forming an array. In the center of the bronze statue, there was a tall altar. 12 divine weapons floated around the altar. These 12 divine weapons were of different shapes and sizes. None of them were the same. Spear, sword, halberd, axe, battle axe, hook, fork, whip, truncheon, hammer, dagger, and saber. There were a total of 12 types. Each of them exuded a terrifying aura that resonated with the surrounding 108 bronze statues, increasing the power of the formation. A group of people was floating in the air of this region. There were about 30 of them. 12 of them had shocking auras, and they were all divine masters. Moreover, they were not ordinary divine masters. Their auras were much stronger than a first or second layer divine master. These were all existences at the third level of the divine master realm or higher. The one in the center was even more terrifying. His aura was shocking, causing the void to tremble, forming an incomparably terrifying pressure. If Lu Ming were here, he would definitely be shocked because this was an existence on the level of the Lord of Heaven. Only the strongest of the divine masters could be called the Lord of Heaven. Every Lord of Heaven was extremely powerful. Who would have thought that there would be a Lord of Heaven here? With the Lord of Heaven at the center, the 12 experts laid down a massive array. Powerful energy poured down as if they were trying to destroy the formation below and refine something. The 108 bronze statues and 12 divine weapons below had already dimmed. It seemed like they wouldn't be able to last much longer. Han Ming, accept your fate. Even if you summon 12 divine weapons, it's useless. At most, you'll be able to struggle at death's door for a little longer. Sooner or later, we'll break through it. A man on the side coldly said. This man looked very young, only in his 20s, but his aura was astonishing. He was also a divine master. One naturally couldn't judge a person's age based on their appearance. Although he looked to be in his 20s, he was actually very old. At the very least, he wasn't a member of the younger generation. This was because no one in the younger generation had never been to the Grand Supreme Immortal City and had such a high cultivation. This person was speaking to the altar, as if the Han Ming he spoke of was within the altar. However, there was no response from the altar. Han Ming, 4 of the 18 divine weapons are in the hands of the Heavenly Palace. If the 18 divine weapons aren't complete, they won't be able to stop us. Also, if you want to summon the Vitality Stone fragments and reform them to strengthen yourself, you can stop dreaming. I've already sent people to hunt down those who control the fragments. Now, half of the fragments are in my hands, so your fate is sealed. Han Ming, you're the master of the Heavenly Palace. You've been struggling at death's door for so long, but in the end, you still have to strengthen me. I'll extract the remaining half of the taboo body from you and complete my taboo body. I, Yi Wu, will be the first heavenly human to completely control the taboo body. The young man shouted. It turned out that this person was the Lord Yi Wu that the heavenly humans had mentioned. How dare a heavenly human try to control the taboo power? How naive. You'll reap what you sow. This time around, a rough voice sounded from the altar. Merely, it sounded very weak. Ha ha ha, nothing is impossible. I've already completely controlled half of the taboo power, and my combat strength has increased tremendously. Once I extract the other half from you, I'll be able to completely control it. At that time, I'll use both the supreme heavenly power and the taboo power at the same time. Who in the world will be my match? I'll be invincible against those of the same level, and I'll surpass the strongest person in the history of the heavenly human tribe. Ha ha ha. Yi Wu laughed. His face was ferocious, and his eyes were burning with anticipation. This time, there was no response from the altar. Humph, Hun Ming, despair. Yi Wu snorted. At this time, someone flew toward them. It was a second-level Divine Master Heavenly Human Elder. You guys, how is it? Have you killed all the remaining people? Yi Wu asked. Lord Yi Wu, please forgive us. The second-level Divine Master Heavenly Human Elder cupped his fists, fear written all over his face. Yi Wu frowned, and a murderous aura emanated from him. Speak. What happened? Lord Yi Wu, the Heavenly Court is too big, and we're severely understaffed. Moreover, it's difficult to capture them during the fog. We don't know where the rest of the people have gone, so, the second-level Divine Master Heavenly Human Elder stammered. Trash. What a bunch of trash. Yi Wu shouted. The second-level Divine Master Heavenly Human Elder lowered his head, not daring to reply. If it weren't for the fact that I couldn't leave, I would have gone there myself. Go, continue the search. You must kill all of them and bring me the fragments of the Primordial Stone of Fate. The complete Primordial Stone of Fate will be my treasure. Yi Wu ordered. Yes. I'll do my best. Don't do your best. You must complete it. Yi Wu's face darkened. The other party hurriedly replied and left. Chapter 4483. With the map and no one ambushing them, Lu Ming and the others moved much faster. When the fog dissipated, they moved even faster. They flew at full speed according to the map. In just 7 days, they were close to the hiding place of the Life Soul Heavenly Court's supreme treasure. At this time, the atmosphere became even more tense. Everyone wanted the supreme treasure, so they were hostile to each other. Therefore, they kept a distance from each other for fear of being ambushed by others. We're almost there. Everyone, why don't we discuss how to split the treasure after we find it? A second-layer Divine Master expert said. Of course, it's based on our strength. Lu Ming said. Okay, then it's based on our strength. The second-layer Divine Master expert said. This was the law of the cultivation world. If they couldn't work together to split the treasure, they could only rely on their strength. The others had no objections. According to the map, we'll reach a plain after flying over this mountain. We'll be there soon, another second-layer Divine Master Elder said. This person had been holding the map all this time. Everyone's hearts were in their mouths. They used their movement techniques and flew over the top of the mountain. In the next moment, everyone stopped abruptly. Their eyes widened as they stared in front of them. Then, everyone's eyes were filled with shock. They naturally saw the heavenly human experts, the altar, and the formation below. Lu Ming and the others were dumbfounded. They didn't expect the heavenly human tribe to be here. Shouldn't the heavenly human tribe be in the east? Ha ha ha, I've searched high and low, only to find it by chance. These people actually delivered themselves to me. Take them down. Yi Wu laughed loudly. With a wave of his hand, 2 heavenly human elders stepped forward and rushed toward Lu Ming and the others. These 2 elders didn't participate in the formation, so their cultivation wasn't too high. They were only second-layer Divine Masters. But they were also very terrifying. They pressed toward Lu Ming and the others like 2 stars. Oh no, we've been tricked. Let's go. Lu Ming roared, his power bursting forth as he pulled Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, and Myriad God back. Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, and Myriad God also reacted and quickly retreated. Dark Night rose and the others reacted very quickly. Just as Lu Ming and the others retreated, they also retreated. The other groups of people reacted a little slower, and by the time they were about to retreat, the 2 second-tier Divine Masters of the celestial race had already closed in. A long spear and a battle sword, both formed from the most powerful heavenly force, slaughtered towards the crowd. The power was extremely shocking. Block it. The 2 second-layer Divine Master Realm existences shouted angrily. They erupted with their full strength and blasted out a blow. However, they were no match for the celestial race's experts. After exchanging a blow, they coughed up blood and retreated. The two second-layer divine masters of the heavenly human tribe didn't stop their attacks. Screams filled the air as the only remaining first-layer divine lord was killed. In addition, a few other young prodigies were also killed. Their storage rings fell into the hands of the celestial race. Among them was the peerless genius ranked 5th on the universe prodigy list, Biyao. He was also killed in a single blow. Let's go. After the two second-layer divine masters were injured, they turned around and left. They didn't dare to linger. The two of you, go after those two divine masters. Leave those little fellows to me. Yi Wu's voice rang out as he charged forward, chasing after Lu Ming and the others. His speed was extremely shocking. After a few flashes, the distance between him and Lu Ming and the others was rapidly closing. Boom! He punched out, and a blazing fist energy blasted toward Lu Ming and the others. The violent power caused Lu Ming and the group's expressions to change drastically. Third-layer divine master. The moment Yi Wu attacked, Lu Ming and the others sensed that Yi Wu's cultivation was at the third-layer divine master realm. Moreover, he wasn't an ordinary third-layer divine master. The fist energy was like a blazing sun. It was formed by countless lightning bolts. This was the power of heaven's punishment. In an instant, it enveloped Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Wan Shen, Dark Night Rose, Di Jianyi, and the others. Buzz! Lu Ming shouted as he used the obsidian staff. He unleashed his full strength and attacked the fist energy. At the same time, Xian Yanqing, Dark Night Rose, and the others all attacked. They knew that if they couldn't block it, they would all die. Now, they were intimately interdependent. With so many people attacking at the same time, all kinds of powerful weapons bombarded the blazing fist energy, causing a series of earth-shattering explosions. Then, these powerful weapons vibrated violently and were sent flying. Lu Ming and the others retreated like kites with broken strings and fell to the ground. They all suffered different degrees of injuries. What a powerful force! Lu Ming's eyes were solemn. This person's combat power was too strong. Although he was only a third-layer divine master, his strength was definitely much stronger than an ordinary third-layer divine master. When this person was young, he must have been a top genius. However, at this moment, Yi Wu's eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. Forbidden power. You have mastered the forbidden power. Good, very good. As long as I can suppress you and send you back to the heavenly palace, it will be a great achievement. Yi Wu laughed as he put his hands behind his back and stepped forward. He looked as if he was invincible. He was very conceited. However, with his strength, he had the right to be conceited when facing Lu Ming and the others. Attack! At this moment, Xian Yanqing and Dark Night Rose shouted as they moved at the same time. They flashed out and quickly formed seals with their hands. Combined attack technique, explode. The next moment, a huge black lotus appeared under Yi Wu's feet. On top of his head, a sky-devouring rose appeared. The two flowers, one above the other, released a terrifying burst of field energy that enveloped Yi Wu. At the same time, Xian Yanqing and Dark Night Rose circulated the origin energy in their bodies. Although they had used it the last time, it had been many days since then. The origin energy in the seed of origin had long been restored. Sizzle. The field energy made Yi Wu's body tremble slightly. Even his protective heavenly energy was trembling. Combined attack technique. Interesting. No, this is the origin energy. Yi Wu's face suddenly changed. He was shocked. He could feel the origin energy in the terrifying field energy. Xian Yanqing and Dark Night Rose were only 9th-layer divine gods, but they had mastered the origin energy. This made Yi Wu very surprised and curious. At this moment, Lu Ming also made his move. He also released the origin energy and merged it with the forbidden power into the obsidian staff. He activated the obsidian staff with all his might and attacked Yi Wu. Boom! The attack went through the field energy and hit Yi Wu's face. This is also the origin energy. Yi Wu's eyes were shining. There was greed, passion, and surprise in his eyes. However, he didn't stop there. He threw a punch. When he punched out, a terrifying power erupted from his body. This power was not the power of the heavens. It was the forbidden power. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.